So, should we start with Bionicle?
I was thinking about it. So apparently it's like a Lego toy that like the kids play with and it's like a Gundam but like Legos.
And there's characters and there's like a whole property and movies and stuff. Yeah. Um. So, who am I to ignore a nice alley oop whenever it's tossed up into the air, right? You know me. I'm always down for that. It's a free one. However, I'm curious because I have a thought on the matter, but I'm curious as to how it even. Why are we talking about Bionicle?
Oh, that's easy. I was looking at the videos on the internet and there was one that was like a bunch of action figures and I thought it was somebody's cringe Warhammer uh like skit video that was like some kind of goth IHOP thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whatever. And I skipped it. And everyone's like, you don't know what Bionicles fucking is? I'm like, I don't know. I think I might have heard the name once or twice, literally ever in my entire life.
Okay.
And I was like, did people know what this is? And then Paige looked at me like I was crazy. And then everybody said I was crazy. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know about these TV shows I never heard of?
Okay. Because yeah, I assume that it must be an urgent situation when I'm getting texts about the situation at whatever point. However, I know about Bionicle because I grew up with Lego, played a bunch of it, and then I remember when I was growing older, they started introducing the Technic line of Legos, which was the
I remember
more,
that.
though exactly right. Those were towards the sort of the advanced, more complex ones, and then Technic eventually did evolve into the Bionicle, which is the whole like IP with characters and stuff behind it. Thing is, though, and this is just the honest truth, by the point at which I would say you're what year were you born?
86.
86. I'm 85. By the point at which that
Yeah, I
came
was
out,
14 when this came out.
we were on our way out of high school and going into college. So the honest
Yeah.
truth is the timeline of Bionicle not lining up with you makes perfect sense.
What, like, what?
I'm stepping in to say here,
It
you
was a
are.
TV show.
It makes perfect sense because my friends as well, everyone that I knew growing up at that age, was not that Bionicle was coming out as people were going into college, getting out of like toys and things like that. So the age difference of the 10 years between you and the people you're speaking to is going to make the difference there.
I like
What I,
how everyone's going nuts because you said 14, getting ready to leave in high school, go to college. Like, you graduate from high school in Quebec at 17. I was halfway through high school when I was 14 years old.
well, look,
But also, I vividly remember I had already stopped watching television at that age and had switched entirely over to bootleg VHS tapes and insanely long downloads off of like LimeWire and torrent
I had
sites.
to be perfectly honest with Paige and just go, and and I was like, yeah, no, the timing of when that dropped was the mid aughts. In 2002 or so, I was graduating, going into college as well. That specific era of me playing with Legos was like the 90s, and I remember the
Yeah, I stopped playing with Legos when I was like 8 or 9. I want to
right.
say.
And then I remember in my teenage years, I saw ads for Technic, but I didn't get into it. But I saw it. I remember
Yeah.
that was the thing. I was like, oh, okay, they're getting into more advanced stuff. And there was a big race car that you could build, like an RC type thing.
Uh
Um,
huh.
and then by the time I started seeing the introduction of the brand that is Bionicle, I was off of TV already. It was just coming out as I was moving into
Yeah.
like torrent
I'm
life and cord cutting entirely. So
I feel like it's I feel like a lot of the blind spots that I've encountered where people are like, you don't know this, are 10 years younger than I am. And two, um, I don't know how it is for the younger generation, but when I was at a certain age, if you were into like games or Japanese anime or whatever, you basically just gave up on television in your mid-teens
Mm-hmm.
entirely.
Yep.
I haven't watched TV for real since I was like 12 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and thus there are a lot of blind
Mm-hmm.
spots.
But
Like you don't like
that's when the Naruto torrents started. Yeah, that's essentially, you know.
the last piece of TV that I came home and watched with my mom was 9/11.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now,
Like, to put that into context with people.
but
No, hold on. Everyone's screaming, it's not a TV show. But how would I have known about it had I not seen a commercial? I was not going to toy stores or talking with children about Legos.
So I remember the TV commercials for Bionicle, and I remember that was as I was getting out of TV essentially, right? So that's what I'm saying is like, the unfortunate, less entertaining, boring real answer is no. You were at the age where it makes sense, where you might not have heard about it given the trajectories we've had. And if you were younger by about 10 years, which a lot of the people here are, it would be right
Clearly.
in line with when you would be playing with stuff, right? Because conversely, I assume that unless parents gave them their old Legos and passed it down or something, a lot of these folks didn't play with the older retro Lego sets that were from the early 90s, that it wouldn't line up with you from that point, or
also,
the 80s.
There's another part of this that we have to consider, which is the rampant confusion that happens every time one of these blind spots come up, which is, how do you not know about this? And every single time I go, well, how did you, person I'm talking to, find out about this thing? It is like, well, my friend told me this. And it's like, I didn't know anybody that was into it. And they go, well, I used to watch a guy on YouTube and he mentioned it or whatever. And it's like, I don't watch anybody on YouTube and never have. Ever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, a streamer that I liked, well, I don't watch anyone's streams ever. And that's where it gets actually extra crazy, where the actual more insane thing is that me to the highest degree, but you also to some degree, like, I don't watch people's fucking streams or videos or YouTube channels or any ever.
Now there
which
are
is why
times
I didn't know about the GTA thing or the fucking.
Well, now there are times when, like, just based on, I suppose, like the fact that what we do is focus on video games, it makes it. I will take the heat for something like PUBG, sneaking up.
Yeah, really,
that's embarrassing.
That's
a horrible blind spot.
Streaming like early access trash at random every couple of weeks because I don't want to miss the next big thing.
But I'm gonna, like, the reasonable thing is just like, this is the methods, the avenues with which you would have heard about it don't exist and don't at that age and at that particular method of media consumption, right? And it's just, and the thing is of course, is that it's the same going backwards, right? Like, I don't know, like, drop your 80s cartoon references, if you would, and that's gonna fly over heads. But some people might have heard, but probably haven't sat down and watched, I don't know, episodes of Saber Riders and the Star Sheriffs, Mask, Dino Riders.
Oh, jeez.
Fucking, you know what I mean? Like, there's a point where you're like, you're gonna see a screenshot, maybe a YouTube video of a 2-minute thing for it at one point. But
I'm seeing folks say that there were trailers in films. I don't remember ever seeing a Bionicle trailer in a film.
Yeah. So right off the bat, I say Dino Riders, and people go, "Oh, you mean Spider Riders?" And this is exactly the point. Let's take a look at those years. I'm just gonna be real with these things, man. Spider Riders, I remember I was like probably in my late teens to 20s, if not, and it was coming out on Teletoon, a channel that only existed when we were in like grade 9 or so. Teletoon started.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, it's the ultimate in like new age stuff. Yeah, 2006, 2007, right? That's so far into like
Yeah,
us
no,
being like in
the
our 20s
fucking
at that point.
the time period was, if Bionicle came out in 2000, then I would have been too busy selling my classmates' pirate PlayStation 1 games to watch this. And then once I went to Sejep, I was too busy watching people's entire binders of bootleg anime
So
to fuck it,
So
like,
and here's the thing, right? Saber Riders and the Star Sheriffs is too early for both of us, but that is because of my cousin and my older brother. I know about it through them, so that's more their lined up interest because that's 1987. That's 2 years after I was born. Right? It's like, why would I wake up and be alive and then the first thing I see is this anime? That'd be crazy. So it's like you have to have something around you to either show you something slightly before your time, or you got to have someone who's your peer showing, or you got to be sitting down watching it yourself and taking that in. You know?
I have a question though. Why is the answer to me not knowing about a Lego spin-off toy anger?
Well,
why mad?
I mean,
why mad about me not know about brand of toy?
But the vibe I got was that Bionicle was really successful when Lego introduced it as a reintroduction of Lego to a new generation of kids, right? Lego as a thing was just kind of like, you little figures, you build them, you do stuff, you have fun. That's all there is to it. But like, that was a particularly successful new thing that was introduced in the mid-aughts, and it blew up. So, you know, now, if I'm not mistaken, they did things with that property. Was there not like animated? There's comics? Was there not a movie? There was a movie, right?
I'm gonna assume, based on the intensity of the reaction, that there was everything.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. There was a 2016 show that came out, from a couple years ago. Yeah, I mean, it was very successful, you know? So Lego rebranded itself by that point. But for me, it was the suitcase full of random colored bricks and stuff that like my brother got, and that was just kind of like inherited ultimately. And Twitter and Tumblr had a big Bionicle revival. There you go. Okay. So that's it. It's just, guys, it's just an age generation thing. You know, there's stuff that's going to not pop up to you.
No, there's a detail. There's a detail that I didn't put together. There was a Bionicle PS2 game that came out in 2003 that was bad. And I saw the cover and asked someone if that game was good, and they told me it was not good, and then I imprinted the name that I now knew.
I see.
And went okay, and then went erase, and just went no.
Out of curiosity, I like, hands up if you heard about Reboot from me, as opposed to catching it on your own beforehand, and I just reminded you of it.
Yeah, no, I knew.
You knew.
I think what's really a shame is that everybody talk about Bionicle, but nobody talk about the all-time classic, The Littlest Hobo, featuring London the dog solving mysteries in rural Ontario.
You know, you've talked about that, and they've heard about The Littlest Hobo, and everyone's freaked out at the name of that, certainly. But then you just kind of explain. Well, you just have to explain that it's Canadian Lassie, and then they go, "Oh, okay, it's just Canadian Lassie. Nothing too fancy about that." And then Wishbone.
I would probably say the Gmod thing is still a bigger blind spot, but I didn't know anybody that was into. We're doing this. We're doing this again.
No, not knowing about the existence of Gmod.
Yeah, not knowing about the Gmod mods with the all that stuff, and the people playing the Gmod, and we thought it was just the model poser.
Right.
Because I still remember it coming out, and it was a model poser. And then I was like, okay, cool. Now I just never have to pay attention to this ever again in my entire life, because I don't care about posing models. And then, it became big.
Right, but I remember that.
But I didn't know anybody who. That one was extra frustrating because like I didn't know anybody that played any of those games ever. And then when every single person that I got a hold of and asked like, well, how did you find out about this? They're like, oh, I watched so and so's videos on it. I'm like, well, there's your solution. Unless it's an hour and a half long video essay about Hong Kong cinema or Tim Rogers going to the eye doctor, I don't care to watch it.
Well, I suppose here's the other reality of the situation. If we're going to be real, we have cultivated an audience that is into like the fact that we are into things that other people don't give a shit about, like
what are you
Devil
talking
May Cry
about?
3 and
What?
ranting about character action games and ranting about fucking, you know, Gurren Lagann and
what?
Silent Hill and all that, you know, and all that stuff back in the day.
Are you telling me that while other kids were playing with their Legos, we were studying the Blade?
Yakuza and Metal Wolf Chaos and so, like all of this shit that you guys are like, oh my god, they know about and or are into that stuff, or you guys are finding out about it for the first time, or you're peripherally like, holy shit, I can't believe someone's into that obscurity. That's also going to backfire from time to time when the Venn diagrams don't perfectly overlap. And that there's going to be shit with age that just pushes that aside. Or just the big one for me, often that I bring up a lot because it happens so much when I'm getting presented with stuff, is the Canadian aspect to it, right?
Oh yeah, no, big Canada. Obviously, I'm going to assume that this particular Lego brand was also in Canada in full force.
Oh, for sure. But a lot of the times, whenever something gets brought up that is like, oh yeah, no, we didn't have that up here, Canada, or even particularly even like Quebec or something, where it's just like, yeah, that was an American childhood thing. We didn't get that here. There's not much I can
see that say. That meme going around that was like, thinks Japanese games are better unironically starter pack, and the first thing on the list is subscribe to these channels.
Yep.
And it's you, me, Matt, Max, Susie, I think Butterbuns, Clems, and it's like, fuck, I'm being super called out. Oh god.
I mean, in my head, it's, you know what, like it's like this is an oversimplification. But in my head, you know what the trajectory is? It's grew up, got a Nintendo, got a Super Nintendo, then those were the formative games, kept playing those games and things like that as the generations went on. Didn't get into first-person shooters, didn't get into RTSs as much. Kept playing the things that were Nintendo and Super Nintendo, platforming, action, third person. That's kind of the simple line. It's oversimplified. It's not reality, but that's what it feels like.
I saw a really great comment about this. Was like, I can't wait for Wooly played Halo in 2021 Madden to talk to Pat about not knowing what old media was.
Perfect.
And I'm like, yeah, that's totally fucking perfect. It's dead on.
Motherfucker, I just finished Dead Space.
That game came out in 2009.
You know? That's the point. Like, I have my interests. You guys like showed up hearing about those particular interests. That was the sphere, and then the other stuff I kind of I have a ton of blinders up about. You know, that's it.
You know, absolutely. Did you see that?
But it's not for lack of knowing. There's a difference between not knowing versus like just not caring about it. You know.
Did you see that in at the Gamescom they had a booth for retro games, and Rock Band was like the biggest game at the retro games thing, and people took damage, and then it was pointed out that we're farther away from Rock Band 1 now than like Super Mario was when Rock Band came out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. It's horrifying.
So
retro no longer means 2D sprites. Fourth
retro
generation
means Atari and sprites and shit.
Fourth generation and below for me is retro. But that's not what it is anymore, you know. So, yep, and all the Final Fantasy one, right? You know, the what was it? The distance between 1 and 10 versus 10 and now. and what you think it means when you, whatever that meme was, I forget. But anyway, yeah. So no, just clearing the air on that. It's extremely reasonable and normal given your age bracket, your and surroundings, you know, and then when you're on the internet now, the beginning of that internet age, that's where everyone just branches and goes into unique directions, because whatever the fuck you were doing, like I gave up on TV and I was watching those, like I said, anime torrents and Mugen. You know what I mean? I was deep in that hole, and then looking up whatever fighting game stuff and old footage of, you know, arcade machines in Japan, and just like I was going down that, and that's a whole.
Listen, I need to watch
Madman's Cafe.
Need to watch 144p videos off of LimeWire of guys playing Third Strike Q real good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to learn about none of this.
That's it, man. You know, that's it. So that's you guys just never forget that's what you signed up for. That's what's going on here, is the world of obscurity, and
there's gonna be more value though as we get older, and like the PS2 becomes an unknown era, and we're like, oh, I remember the PS2. What a bunch of cool games on there. Did you know the buttons had analog sensitivity? Wow.
Well, I mean, just give it a second and you'll see that all these folks that are like, nah, man, my childhood was Crash Bandicoot, are going to meet a bunch of people that are like, fuck that, my childhood was Fortnite and Brawlhalla, and they're going to die inside when those kids go like, what the fuck is Crash Bandicoot? You know, you just slide it along a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait for the damage. It'll sink in. We're well past the Minecraft kids. That's already come and gone. You know.
Saw a tweet just like 10 minutes ago that was like, if Fortnite had come out in 2008, you'd see like Haruhi Suzushima dropping bombs on Goku right now. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's probably accurate.
Haruhi... shit. Ichigo would absolutely be Bankaiing.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway.
This is a great way to segue into me talking about gigantic blind spots in media, as I was talking to my wonderful wife, Paige. And we were talking about the shit zillion movies that she has seen, that likes, that I have not seen. And so we watched James and the Giant Peach yesterday.
Oh.
Which I had never seen nor read the book. So I was not spoiled by the children's book for the movie.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
I think I watched it on a day where I watched like 4 different movies in a row. Yeah.
So, like,
okay.
I don't really have all that much to say. It's a very charming, like, very pointed towards kids movie. It's after a Roald Dahl book. The plot's nothing to sneeze at. What is something to sneeze at is the absolute out of fucking control clay animation. Just the absolute most out of, like, we're gonna just clay animate the absolute shit out of this on what looks like on ones. Instead of on 2s. It's absurd. It's disgusting. It's the like, I'm watching it and I'm like, oh man, I wonder if they're gonna make the fucking grasshopper jump, because it's such a pain in the ass to make a clay animated character jump. And as they're like doing backflips and jumping around each other and swinging on things, I'm like, oh my fucking god.
Back when it was,
oh man.
Back when it was acceptable to just watch these people like kill themselves with precision, and you just take the entire movie budget and you just give it to 3 guys in a room with a light and some rope, you know, to do. If you thought any like that is one of the definite heralds of really good claymation. Kubo and the 2 Strings. Have you ever seen that?
I have not seen the Kubo.
That is. It's the best looking claymation thing I think I've seen, and I don't know Like, it's also a ridiculous proposition with modern budgets, so I don't know if you're ever gonna fucking see anything come along and go that hard again. But it was made in a time that was past Claymation's, like, feasible Hollywood budget era. And
yeah, way past. That was relatively recent, right?
and it was made to prove a point, essentially, about the medium. It's ridiculous if you do ever go see it. It is ridiculously well animated.
But yeah, James and the Giant Peach, good movie. Next on the list is something called Hocus Pocus with Bette Midler.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and the horse lady.
Yeah, right. The three
lady.
witches.
The horse lady that has all the sex on the city. What's her? I fucking can't remember her name. My brain is literally auto completing it to horsewoman.
So I want to say that I saw that movie via ignoring it while it played in a substitute teacher's classroom.
Sarah Jessica Parker. Oh, perfect. That's great.
Someone wheeled in the VHS and pressed play, and we just kind of ignored it while we had a free period.
What, Pat? I didn't see Hocus Pocus. I didn't have a childhood. What year did that even come out? 93? Why the fuck would I watch that shit when I was 7? It had Bette Midler in it.
Yeah, that I think for the Nightmare Before Christmas goth girl.
Yeah, I remember her.
So Hocus Pocus, for a decent amount of them, they've that's an establishing point.
That's part of the pipeline.
That's part of the pipeline. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see. I should probably watch that, huh?
I mean, you don't have to, but you can. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, you can go back and watch that, or you can go watch fucking a Kurosawa movie, or
yeah, I could,
or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You know.
But I'm worried that the Kingdom Hearts will have spoiled me on the Nightmare.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I do appreciate that people are going back to that now, because Red Letter did a little like, hey, let's talk about the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and so like people are like, oh yeah, let's go watch it. And I remember I had a moment back in that era of not watching TV anymore in early college when I went, fuck it, I'm just gonna go rent a bunch of stuff from Movie Land, which was downtown, and they had like, I'm just gonna go rent classics and go find out for myself what's the big deal with Casablanca, what's the big deal with Raging Bull, everything that was a classic that people talked a lot about. And
yeah, no, like here's where I'm at, right? Yeah, I of all the movies that we've been talking about, I haven't seen any of them. Any of the ones you just mentioned, haven't. But I can tell you right now that fucking the Maltese Falcon fucking sucks. I fucking can't stand the Maltese Falcon. I can tell you that A Bridge Too Far is real slow. The Bridge on the River Kwai is way better. Dirty Dozen's pretty good. Where Eagles Dare is pretty good, if only because Clint Eastwood being in a World War II movie is,
let me guess,
strange.
Is that your dad?
Yeah, it's whatever Dad would have on the TV on Sunday.
Yeah,
it's the movie that I watched.
Right.
I saw every James Bond movie like 4 times, and you know what? You would think that would mean that I would remember what they're like. No, that means I don't remember what they're like at all, because every single James Bond movie is the same fucking movie over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have that, so I had to go make my own dad movie playlist, and there's some good shit out there, but you gotta find it. Citizen Kane? Yeah, pretty good.
Citizen Kane is like really insanely dry, but like even now you can look back on it like, oh, that shot with the window outside, that probably blew people's fucking minds.
Dr. Strangelove? Like that's fucking, that was ridiculous. It was hilarious when I remember popping that in. I was like, yeah, that's funny. That I get it. Absolutely absurd. But I don't know how it would hold up. But I remember at the time it was just great. You know what's one that you did see that we have talked about? Well, Blazing Saddles, right?
Yes.
So like that was like, oh, cool. Okay, you caught that one as well. That shit's hilarious. That's that you know. There's a bunch of pieces here and there that do overlap. But all this to say that, like, if you're going to sit down and pop in something like, I mean, I guess you can go watch Hocus Pocus, or there's some really good shit that you can also catch up on.
So no, here's the way that it works. Me and Paige have this thing where I go, oh wow, I can't believe you haven't seen this movie, and she goes, I can't believe you haven't seen this movie, because guess what? There's a lot of movies out there.
Okay.
And here's the way it works. I say a movie that I want to watch, and then we watch the movie that she wants to watch, and then the next time it comes up, I'm like, oh, what about the one I wanted to watch? And then she says, I don't want to watch that one. We're gonna watch the movie that I want to watch, and then that continues for about 10 movies. Nothing.
That's right.
So I'm really excited to watch Hocus Pocus.
Okay, there you go. Now we can move forward in time and just hit some obvious points, but have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
Yes, I have.
It's a very good movie. Okay.
I've seen Shawshank Redemption like a weird amount of times because it would show up on like Fox Buffalo, fucking license free over and over for like 3 years.
I don't know if you remember, but like one day randomly in college, I was just like, you know what? I saw Heat on DVD and I just bought it because I'm like, I heard about this movie. I heard this is a good one. Well, Al Pacino and fucking whatchamacallit, the brain stupid.
The other guy.
Pacino and De Niro together. And I'm like, okay, let's see it. And I watched it. It was fucking amazing. And I came back, and I remember specifically walking back into the club spaces and going, have you guys seen Heat? Holy shit, what a good movie. And they're like,
so
what?
This is great. So do you know what you don't want to hear how fucking out of touch I am?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's my personal knowledge of Heat. 1, I do remember that specific day coming back in and saying that Heat is really good. 2, Jeff Gerstmann and Ryan Davis talking about how that one scene in Heat is weirdly dated because they're sitting at a kitchen table with a tiny television.
Yes.
And 3, it apparently has really good gun audio, which is why they made the Payday games.
Ah, okay.
That is what I know about Heat.
I mean, I've heard about the diner scene, for a while. So that was like preemptive to it, and then you see it and it's like, oh, that shit's iconic. There's so many moments of just like fucking, TV to go, turning the car around, all of that. Such a fucking great, and then the of course the classic detective, too married to the job to save his own marriage.
Right.
I got 4 bodies. Whatever, waiting on the corner. Mystery murders. Sorry if the chicken got dried out. It's great.
And I see. You know what my favorite thing is when people do Pacino impressions of things you don't know. They just sound insane.
Yes.
You just sound like a fucking crazy person.
Well, here's the perfect next line to that is you hear about all those things and the impressions and so on. Eventually I go and I watch Scarface and I see what that's about and I go, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, no.
But
Scarface was very different. So I did see Scarface way back for curiosity's sake. And I was like, wow, this is an extremely different movie than what I had been led to believe by pop culture.
Yes. There's a lot of movies where that happens actually. But you get the high super like current Pacino like parodying himself, and he became a person in that movie that is that screaming caricature. But Jay-Z's Black Album drops. The song Allure is on it. In it, Pharrell and him are making reference to Carlito's Way. I'm like, oh, I've heard about Carlito's Way. Let's go watch that. That's another old fucking Pacino. And in it, it's like he's young and quiet and has a completely different voice, and he's talking like a normal person. He's not screaming at the top of his lungs.
He's not the Pacino monster
at all. He hasn't yet become that.
He's not the Dunkachino.
He's not the Dunkachino because he's still Michael Corleone. You know, and that's the thing is there's a moment where he goes from Michael Corleone into Scarface, and then he just locks into Scarface and stays that way for the rest of time.
I'm just now personally remembering
Hoo-ah!
Like the absolute most meteoric nuclear take that I ever go for, and I can feel it bubbling up, which is you mentioned The Godfather, which I've never ever sought out to watch. And then it always, whenever I say that, it always boils down to, but you saw Goodfellas, right? I'm like, yeah, I watched most of Goodfellas with my dad once, and I was fucking miserable because I hated every single person on the screen. And I was like, why don't you just all fucking shut up and go to hell? But Casino, though, yeah, no, same fucking thing. God, I can't fucking stand fucking mob movies. They're so annoying.
I mean, at this point, The Godfather is just a hate watch so that you can come back and yell about how awful it was. Really, because the spite is all built in.
That's not even interesting. That's not even interesting.
Okay. Well, they're good pieces of film. They're enjoyable. I don't know what to tell you. I disagree, and I enjoy them, and I also enjoy The Sopranos. I thought that was pretty fun to watch. So, what do you want me to tell you?
What's wild is that I'll watch crime fiction about any other area other than Jersey, New York, or Vegas.
But it's like, they're shit people. You're not watching it because you're like, oh man, look at these heroes. They're dirtbag pieces of shit. And you're oogling them in their shit lives. That's the point. That's why it's so entertaining.
Oh.
It's absolute garbage, you know? Anyway, yeah.
Like The Departed was the crime thing, but it was funny because they were Irish.
And then they played the Irish music.
And they were being Irish and doing crimes. Isn't that interesting? The Irish can do crimes too.
They Dropkick Murphy'd their way through the crime scenes. It was, there you go. Yeah. And that was great. But you know what else was great? Infernal Affairs.
Yeah.
You can just go back and watch that.
I still remember watching one of them. I forget which one it was. And just a guy pulls out a gun and just ices 3 people for no reason. And you just had a conniption going, that dude's a cop. No.
Yeah, man. Those are fun movies. The movies The Departed was based on, you know? So, anyways, it's just whenever you take a moment to decide and go back and fill in a blank, you know, in terms of the classics.
I tell you what, if somebody wants to send me a full version of Goodfellas and or The Godfather, where every character on screen at all times is just like spinning some pizza dough above their hand, and there's just a really soft like in the background. Like, you know what? Maybe those are good movies. Maybe.
But you know,
maybe.
But you know, like what's funny is that in both Sopranos and in Godfather, what's awesome about exactly what you're describing is that both of those feature really important moments of the Italian American going back to Italy and just going, I don't know where I am or how any of this works.
Yeah, well, no, it's a totally different everything.
And, like, being hit with that thing of, like, yeah, whatever the fuck you are is some other shit. You're not us, you know? And that's a really, like, that's a really, like, oh, moment for them. You know, that they actually zoom in on that. So
I remember I knew a kid in high school who, of course, was named Big Tony because his brother was a twin, and that was Lil Johnny, unironically. And they took a family trip to Italy to visit some relatives, and they came back going, "Oh, it's not what I thought it was going to be like. It was really weird. I didn't like. I don't know why they thought they would fit in speaking no Italian at all, and being from like fucking Chateauguay in Quebec."
You know, and the thing is too is I suppose it's a bit like music, right? Like, think of all the hair metal bands and like even before that shit, like Woodstock era shit that you were like indoctrinated to and supposed to know via osmosis. But if you didn't have anyone in your life that was particularly pushing any of that your way, you just had to kind of go seek it out yourself or not care about it. And as someone who just grew up with no one in my life that was really introducing me to any of that music, I'm just like, okay, I've got my family and my cousins, and that's black music, and then there's gospel coming from church, and then there's my own interests that are just like seeking out whatever's, you know, like whatever current nerdy shit. But I only really started like hearing and getting exposed to a lot of that stuff with Guitar Hero 1.
Oh, absolutely. If people are actually curious where my "I hate music sucks" shit comes from, it comes from the fact that there were literally only 2 bands that ever played in my house at any time throughout my entire life. One was the Beatles, and the other was Sarah McLachlan. You could probably guess which parent was attached to which.
Yikes. Okay.
Therefore, all new music pointed my way was either through my older brother, which meant Metallica and only Metallica, or fucking LimeWire, fucking DBZ music videos, which is where I found out about Linkin Park.
No, it's not, and that's not uncommon. Like there's a lot of people in our era that, you know, okay, Guitar Hero 1 drops and you're like, holy shit, Bark at the Moon, holy shit, Black Sabbath, holy shit, Bang Camaro and Wolf Mother and all that shit that was, you know, like
oh wow, these are good,
right? And then the same effect for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games.
Yeah,
right?
No, that's where I heard most of the new bands of my youth for the first time, which was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Absolutely. The genre covering in that from, you know, just from the ska to metal to rap and you know, like just all kinds of shit in between, was a really big eye-opener for a ton of people of that age. So, yeah, it's if you don't have somebody that's going to just, like, sit you down and show you the ropes, then that's all you get, you know? I got lucky. I've talked about it before that a friend of mine was like, yo, I'm going to mix you a Rage Against the Machine mixtape, and you're going to listen to this shit, and you're going to be into them. And I'm like, yep, done, sold, got it. And that did the trick.
Yeah, okay.
You know? Well, anyway, so it works the same for music.
You know, I got to say, I'm actually going to make it fairly serious for a second. Apologies, Wooly. Out of all of the jokes that we ever had from the old channel, the Pat had no childhood joke is the one I viciously hate the most and would ask to not be made politely, because the answer is, yeah, no, my childhood absolutely sucked ass and was horrible, and I missed out on tons of shit, and I regret it. So when people go, oh, Pat had no childhood, he didn't hear about this music. Yeah, no, I didn't. It sucks.
Well, hopefully.
Funny.
Hopefully, when exposed to said new music and or new experiences, it sounds cool to you and you like it.
Absolutely.
As opposed to just, you know, like, give it a chance to work its way in and see if it sticks. And I want to say that for me as well, like Beatles, I had a friend that was really into Beatles that like kind of would play it a lot at her place, and I heard about that.
Man, it's like they have like 400 songs, and like there's like 6 that sound any different.
I started, again, as someone who didn't hear a lot of Beatles growing up at all, I eventually did start to hear more. And then when, again, Beatles Rock Band came out, and it's like, oh, shit, I like these. These are some good tracks. Let me go look back. And I went through the catalog after the fact and then really warmed up to it. You know, there's always got to be an inception source for that. But I wasn't overexposed to it and burnt out on it by that point. Right? But, I mean, if you fucking want to play some Kirk Franklin or the African Christian Children's Choir, you can bet your ass I'm fucking dead inside, exhausted of that shit.
Are those good? Are they good?
They were catchy until they deadened a hole inside of me. But I will still stand up for a cappella, which is just super. Well, you know, like a cappella is in like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, like that style shit. There was a whole like Christian group of that, and they have some really nice sounding music that I stand by to this day. But dear God,
I saw somebody mention something similar about Christmas music. I can't even hear Christmas music anymore. It just auto filters through my mind out into just white noise. I literally, like, the fucking from fucking August 31st in the fucking store, just fucking turn it on and just leave it on until the fucking end of January.
It's so unfortunate because it's like, think about how Christmas music has been like a cultural thing for most of the century, and caroling was a thing, and to everybody it's supposed to elicit these feelings of like, oh, the season's here, and for a bunch of people it still does. But for anyone who's ever worked in retail and the modern era of what retail is that didn't exist in any previous generation, that entire genre is annihilated immediately.
It does unironically trigger some kind of fight or flight response when I see like Mariah Carey at this point. Because on every dumbass's fucking playlist, for some reason they'd have like 30 different songs, but you need to put the Mariah Carey song in there 6 times, so that, you know, even if it's on shuffle, you're definitely gonna get it.
In case someone's running into the store for a quick pickup, they got to hear that for sure.
I saw a picture of Mariah Carey in a giant ice cube earlier today with the caption, "She's defrosting." I was like, God damn it.
I mean, she's built a fortune on that fucking, like, it, you know, why wouldn't you just become that person?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, easy. But yeah, James the Giant Peach is good. Looking forward to fucking Hocus Pocus.
Sure. If you do get a chance to catch Kubo and the Two Strings, for just, if you want to watch some stop motion excellence, that's the final stop on the train.
I should probably watch the Isle of Dogs before that, because it has dogs in it.
It's really good. I mean, did you like Fantastic Mr. Fox?
I don't know, did I?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, that one's good too.
We can do this literally all day.
Yeah. If you like, Fantastic Mr. Fox is really good, and then after that, go watch Isle of Dogs for a similar vibe. In fact, I would say that Isle of Dogs is like built on the vibes of Fantastic Mr. Fox, so I think you should watch that first. I think,
okay.
Because I feel like if you went backwards, you would probably appreciate it less. So,
okay,
do that. Anything else? And keep it going, because I'm gonna change my shirt.
Oh, you're gonna change your shirt? Oh, okay.
It's hot, but I can still hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, it's hot. Witcher, Prey 2017. Now, I've talked about all those games at length. Not all that much going on over here. I pet the dog a bunch. He's cute. People are screaming for Guild Wars 2. I did not get a chance to check out Guild Wars 2. I probably should go and take a look, just for academics' sake, because, like, I wonder how that's changed. And I haven't played Soul Hackers 2 either. How's my island doing? I didn't even I haven't even gone in that island. I have to make too much crafting food. Way too much to go on now. So that anybody who's wondering, Ultra Kill will be this week on Thursday. Are you enjoying your new shirt, sir?
I am. It's got guile on it.
But yeah, no, it's been a relatively simple week. I'm going through Prey again. I'm still going through Witcher. Nothing jump out at anyone for newness. The most interesting thing was, of course, the fact that I haven't watched any movies in my life, apparently. In fact, all the movies I could tell you I watched, none of you have ever heard of.
Well, okay.
If you want to see a bunch of shit this week, go down to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. The only weirdly timed stream this week is the Dead by Daylight one, which will be at 9 in the morning Pacific. Wesker's coming out tomorrow, so I have to do that. It's mandatory. But I'm doing it at early in the morning so that if someone wants to stream in the evening, they absolutely can.
Okay. Over on this side,
Really short right now,
of the nation. Funny you mention you checked out Prey. I checked out Prey as well.
Which Prey?
Prey the movie.
Man, the disambiguation page on that thing must be the worst. Just the worst.
Video game, movie, anything else?
Video game, movie.
Okay.
So when I'm streaming Prey, I'm literally putting in the title Prey 2017 instead of Prey 2008.
I see. Okay.
And definitely not watching the movie Prey 2022.
Yeah, bracket year. It's awesome. It's really good. I like it a lot. Very, very simple and solid in that, you know, it's a Predator franchise movie, and you get what you're hoping for. And it also does a really good job of like, because like I watched it with Punch Bomb and kind of just did a summary of Predator 1 and 2 and, you know, like a 3 minutes type of thing just to catch up, because it's like, here's what it is. There's a monster, comes from space, and there's rules. Once you learn the rules, you can, you know, kind of deal with or whatever. But for the most part, it's just a big old tech monster that's coming to haunt you. It's coming to hunt you if you're strong and whatever. So yeah, so Prey is very like it's definitely, because it's so much about like, it's simple and like you're just watching scene to scene of like how the action's going down, and like, you know, the it's not going to spend too much time on scenario and setup and such. It just kind of like establishes things and then kind of moves into it. It's one of these things where it's like, less I say the better, which unfortunately is kind of becoming the case in common with a lot of these movies. And if you do get a chance to see it, it'd be fun to talk about. But it's really fun in like going into it. Whether if you don't know anything about Predator, you can learn the rules as you watch it. And if you do, you can kind of be like, there's that thing, and yeah, okay, cool. You know, knowing about the Achua race and stuff, you can kind of look at it and go like, okay, so have you seen the trailer for this, for example?
I have, yes.
Okay, so you're looking at it, it's like okay, this is set in, you know, a very long time ago,
1760 something. It's way back when, and you know, you're like, okay, so like, what are they dealing with and how are they going to deal with it and such. And it's knowing that like something that you kind of get from the future, knowing that you get something from the future parts of the franchise, is that like the more tech and armor a Predator has, the more advanced it is, the more it's done, the more it's accomplished. Right. So like, even though you're going far back in time, if this is a very basic, early, nearly naked Predator showing up, like, that's your only real shot at it versus anything else that would come along and be fully kitted out, you know? I mean, if you're going by a Predator movie logic, so I haven't seen the new one, but I have seen most of the others. By most Predator movie logic, the most consistently way to kill your hyper advanced super alien is to throw a big tree at it or hit it with a big rock rather than shoot it with your gun or stab it with your sword.
Yes, well, if you can break all of its gear and get it down to, brass tacks and have a good old slobber knocker battle with it, then
just drop a big old tree on it.
But that doesn't always work, and such. So anyway, yeah, it's it's a pretty solid setup that, again, like, doesn't, you don't have to wait, you don't waste too much time on how and where it fits in and such. But I don't want to spoil anything, but I recommend it. It's pretty good. And it's a very different vibe. I'll say this. It's a very different vibe from, say, Predators, which, was like about a ragtag group trying to survive, which is kind of like Aliens, for example. It's about your single survivor Cherokee lady trying to make it with her and her dog. And you know what? That's a good dog.
I bet.
Dog puts in work.
I'm trying to think. There haven't been, like... Yeah, and most of the others, if not all of the others, didn't have any, like...
Not Cherokee. Comanche. My bad.
Didn't have no dogs attacking the Predator.
I don't know. But...
I can't think of one. Now, let me ask you a question, Wooly. Now, when the Predator went down to hunt the Comanche back in 1715, was it looking for new sources of delicious autism to harvest?
I don't understand. What?
I love that you don't understand. So Shane Black, when he wrote the new Predators movie that took place in the modern times, he retconned it so that the Predators were in fact hunting humans to search for the autism, because that's the next stage in human evolution. That's canon. You can't undo it. Oh yeah, no, type it in. Type it in. I swear to God. Yeah, look it up.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you talking about The Predator, or are you talking about Predators?
I'm talking about The Predator.
The Predator. Okay.
Predator.
I didn't see The Predator.
No, yeah, me either. Looks like we dodged that one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy. I was super confused by what the fuck you were talking about for a second there, but
yeah, I bet everyone in the movie theater was confused too when that plot point came up.
Well, in any case, this was a good one.
So that doesn't come up?
Doesn't occur here. Doesn't occur here.
Oh, good. Good.
And there's a whole lot of there's one scene that that bugs me, that is similar to kind of what bugged me in WandaVision, and it's just there's one moment of your protagonist taking out like a room full of people, and you're just like, come on, like that's a very difficult feat to pull off. And if you do pull it off, I want to believe in you. I really do. So, like, give me, like, absolute ridiculous exhaustion and limping and, like, just, like, which is why I love Vagabond, because when, like, wild shit like that happens, like, you take out a whole lot of people in a row, you're almost fucking dead because of it. Like, out of breath.
So that when you say that, it makes me think of True Detective Season 1 and Tom Yong-gung, where in the big long shot action scenes, the main character is visibly
Fucked
exhausted
up.
and like screwing up the acting portion of the fight
Yes.
because they're so
Yes.
tired.
Old boy. Absolutely. Like, I want to believe in what you're showing when the main character is taking out a bunch of people, but just I need to see them fucked up as a result of it. You're not that good for that much when full, like, it's just, come on, you know? Like, it needs to weigh its toll on you after a certain point.
You did a boxing training for a while, and I did a little bit of combat sports in high school, and everyone who's done anything that or pro sports or anything is like, wow, 3 minutes is a long time. 3 minutes is a long time.
A little exhibition of a couple rounds is more than enough to end you, much less going the distance in like fucking 10 or 12. So you can't I just, every time I see a moment like that and I'm like, okay, who's this character? How dangerous are they? You know, are you just the supreme badass that, you know, are you Tony Jaa, or are you old man getting out of a box and at the bottom of a building, you know? And in this case, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, you have the ability to do this, but it should take everything out of you, you know. But whatever, it's a minor little, just, you have to buy into it as you're watching the movie.
It's funny, and it's a minor aside that I just want to go into for a second. Since I'm playing through Witcher 1, it is one of those things that really stands out about the protagonist of those games, and that Geralt doesn't want to be in his own game and is resentful of the quest that he has to do throughout the game, and is just kind of done with it on almost every level. Like almost Professor Layton level of, oh, you need to get me this. He's like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll go, fine, fuck it. Like,
Good
it's one of
energy.
my favorite elements that your protagonist can have, which is that
Done.
they don't want to do it at all. The call to adventure hits them and they go, no.
Absolutely done. Yeah, Castlevania season 1.
Yeah.
Maximum reluctance to save the day. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like some of that, like, so that's sort of like, I guess, like, in that type of attitude, which is also like, there's like the sarcasm of like Spider-Man and shit like that you know, is like a fun thing to see when you're reading it as a comic and stuff. It was also what was kind of initially enjoyable about the, like, let's say Firefly Whedon style dialogue and then into MCU style stuff, but then when you fast forward 20 years, it's like, okay, it doesn't have the same effect it used to anymore.
So I'm doing this now.
It's no longer, oh my god, is this really
flying
happening?
Around. Oh my god.
I can use freaking magic?
Oh wow, that's crazy.
What? So that happened.
You know, I want to point out that, like, it's really common to be like, this is very old and cringe, but I want to point out that the phrase "so that happened" was cringe the day it happened. Like, the first time I heard that in my life was like on the WB, and some fucking vapid blonde was telling someone about their fucking tampon falling out into the river and then a duck eating it. And like, just no. Ugh.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff, perhaps not that happened.
That was a weird story to invent. My apologies.
I don't know. I'm just, that's why I just moved right along. I'm used to it. Anyway, I feel like a lot of that was enjoyable in its novelty, and it's why certainly I enjoyed it in its heyday. But yeah, once it starts becoming predictable and played out, it becomes less interesting. So the call for better writing is always there. And that's what I'm reminded of when we talk about how currently we're like, oh man, tired, burnt out, super done protagonist is a fun vibe. And it's like, yes, until you see
Definitely
it too
very
much.
relatable.
But
Yeah.
until it happens too much, and then we fast forward a decade, and then we're like, oh my God, we've seen enough of this reluctant hero thing. Can we go back? You know, and then I suppose that's when you gotta do the fucking cycle and All-Star Superman it or whatever.
We killed that kid. We killed that kid, Morty. We shot him. We shot him with our gun, Morty. Have you seen these fucking clips? Have you seen this shit?
I saw that clip.
Isn't it just fucking painful? Is it like,
dude? Perfect example. First time season 1 watching Rick and Morty, this shit is hilarious. It's a really funny, fucked up show. Right? You move forward in time, and then obviously the audience gets its hands on it, and then Pickle Rick kid in the McDonald's, and you're just like, oh dear God, this is the worst.
yeah, the Pickle Rick kid in the McDonald's really just killed it for everyone.
And then the vibe,
which is funny because he was making fun of the Rick and Morty fans.
Course, sure. You know,
but he succeeded intensely.
way too strongly. And then, of course, the analysis that it's like, oh, Rick and Morty appeals to people that think they're smarter than everyone in society, and that's
the
nihilism.
No longer gonna ever talk to anyone about Rick and Morty ever again.
God damn it! I still do, just out of curiosity, want to see the rest of like where that goes. So I should probably finish season 2 or 3 at some point just to see it. And now that there's been distance as well, because I feel like it's gone from being everywhere to being it's pretty quiet again, except he's dropping in MultiVersus now. But yeah, the high IQ Rick and Morty fan base stuff is such fucking...
Oh my God.
But anyway, and then but at that point, and then we come back around and I see the new game, see the like, oh, you shot the kid, you did it, are you happy thing, and you're just kind of like, well, that is the set, that's yeah, no, I know,
you know what,
I know that's the vibe, it's Morty voice.
I'm just thinking of the Rick and Morty is for smart people, has the exact same feeling of disgust in my chest as the guy who's saying, like, I'm a woman's ally because I jerk off to women with muscles. We're not the same, freak. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. Okay, that's
going wild. I will. That's a bad vibe. So no to that. However, I will unapologetically call people cowards who talk shit about.
Oh, that's not what
build.
I'm referring to.
I will unapologetically call you a fucking coward. Yes, no, that's some weird shit. But anyway, I bet you now that like there's less fucking peripheral noise, I'm gonna sit and watch and see whatever Rick and Morty seasons 2 and 3 or whatever. And it'll probably be pretty funny. There'll probably be some shit in there. I'll be like, it's pretty good.
The second season's really good.
Okay, yeah. I like to enjoy something apart from the noise. But anyway, what else is there? Oh yeah, I guess there is. Is that coming from a She-Hulk thing?
No.
Okay.
But
because that's going on now as well.
Fine.
And
no, the one where it got really bad was when Lady D was coming out, and there were freaks portraying that I love Lady D, and that's how I can show you how fucking progressive I am because she's big. Isn't that crazy? And I'm just like, you just have a giantess fetish, you fucking weirdo. This isn't a fucking moral fucking triumph
progressive
that you
boner.
like the big lady, you fucking freak. Like, stop it. There's only one moral thing we can go one or up or down with the fucking fetishes, and that's to mock the feet people, and that's it. And the skeleton freaks.
My preferred method is to slander and libel people who are not into feet as feet
Yeah,
lovers.
that's good.
Just pin it right on them.
Well, you know why? You know why? Because it doesn't work the other way around. You can't take a foot person and be like, they're into feet, because then they're going to start salivating because you said the word feet.
No good. Anyways, okay, so Prey was good.
Yeah. Okay.
Go check that out. Do it. And then finished Dead Space 1. Also,
hey, you did it!
Also very good. Enjoyed.
Actually has a good final boss for a survival horror game. Which,
yeah.
Wow.
No, it was a fun sequence. I mean, honestly, every boss in that game was solid. I had no problems going through it. We talked about Z-Ball being a little bit odd, but admittedly, I found out later there's better ways to play that. But I just, that's a solid experience that holds up. And NPCs, people you meet, creeps, lore, assholes, people to hate, people to trust, people to betray, all kinds of all kinds of ups and downs, but what's fun and always great to see as well, and this is like, it's fun because I expect it, but with both this and Mass Effect with Reggie, the sci-fi setting gets introduced, and like in my head it's like countdown until the hyper-capitalist dystopia of space starts bleeding through and showing you that this is the root of the problem, if not the accentuator, to the kerosene to the fire.
That literally is before the game starts in Dead Space.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the comics are all about.
So
where when it starts to go bad and they're like, put the marker back, they're like, no, but the money.
So that's the fun. Like, that's the thing.
Put the marker back.
Like, you right off the bat, you get the horror, and in Doom as well, of the insane cultist, religious, ridiculous, like, we're all gonna die and that's awesome. Sacrifice yourself to the greater hierarchy. The new flesh is taking over. And those are just like, oh yeah, just waste every one of those people on site. Like, you gotta go, There's no rational actors here. You want us to die, and that's as good a reason as any to take it to you. And then, though, you go reading through logs and you go through codexes, and whatever the setting may be, you always got to find out through the pause screen storytelling time that there is a massive bankroll behind that initiative. And that essentially around the time that they saw the crazy cult-like behavior, they were like, okay, but if we let it go for a little bit longer, could we make more money though? And like with Unitology, they show you right off the bat, like, our shareholders' profits and our employees' safety are at the forefront of our concern. And it's like, yep, in that order.
There's a great bit of detail from Dead Space 2, but also the in between, like, medium of between Dead Space 1 and 2, where they talk more about planet cracking and what planet cracking actually is.
Yes.
And how, as like laughably like destructive and short-term planet cracking is, it's not enough. Like, it's not a sustainable process.
In the lore you unlock at the end of 1, they go into a lot of planet cracking detail, and that's where I saw a good bit of that. Where they're describing how I think CEC is the company, right? They are they're like, yeah, people have concerns about planet cracking and the danger it poses to the solar systems in which we apply it, but we assure you that we've taken much precaution and yada blah 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 blah. And just the idea of, like, you have the ability to destroy a fucking planet that is horrifying. It has massive implications for the solar system you're doing it in. You're going to get those resources and you're going to move on. And I'm just like, yeah, I can immediately imagine the worst case scenarios of what you would do with planet destroying technology that you control from space. Big corporation. Not to mention, of course, the Altman files, where you got the fucking.
So there's a. a really depressing bunch of details about Altman that you would never find out unless you read his book, like his actual real book that came out that was about what happened with Altman, um, where like how Unitology fucking started.
Mm-hmm.
And the basic deal is that there was a marker event on Earth that was like really small scale, and he tries to stop it and ends up being like the last person to survive and like eventually stops it. But as a result, because of weirdo dipshits, he becomes the Christ figure of
Yep.
of the new religion.
Yep.
It sucks so bad.
Yep. And that's the and then of course you combine that with the conspiratorial nature of like actively trying to hide a secret, creating a real conspiracy, and you fire that for 1,000,000 years. You know, people are now like, oh, we have every reason to believe in the conspiracy and the worst of it and how crazy it gets. That the reluctant, like, God damn it, they're gonna turn you into a Christ figure martyr type outcome is it's such a fucking depressing one, and it really hits. Which is why I'm like, I'm gonna reference it again, but like that fake cop out ending from Assassin's Creed 3, when this Desmond is described as like, it's like, hey man, you save the world, and no matter what you do, it's all gonna go bad because people will hear your words and then fast forward long enough and they'll twist them for their own devices and then and start killing each other based on what you said and misinterpreting it. So there's no winning here. You will never clarify yourself enough to save the future. And it's like, ugh. That's a,
I will say,
horrifying observation.
I don't know what your stream plans are, but Dead Space 2 is a shot best like chased after Dead Space 1. Like in today's time period, like there's a lot in that game that, I mean, it obviously came out 2.5 years later, but like it assumes intimate knowledge with the first one for all sorts of like scare remixes, like suspiciously similar hallways that are meant to evoke a feeling in you that then they fuck with to jump scare you from a different direction. Like, it either assumes you're playing them back to back or that you played one multiple times, you remember a ton about it.
I certainly don't intend to wait too long before I get into it, but it was not up.
What? That's crazy.
Next on the slate. There's a lot of good shit that I have lined up that I'd like to jump into. So every choice is difficult, trust me. I'll be getting to it shortly, but it is not right away on the slate. Now, just do it, man. Come on. Okay, so do you not know? So I shouldn't announce what I'm going to do next then? We should just
what are you
fuck
going to
that.
do next?
I'm going to do Silent Hill 3 next.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. But no, fuck it. No, never mind. Fuck, no. Back down.
That's a good one.
Shit, man. Just give it a chance, people.
So
it'll be fine. It's like 6 hours to 12. It's not that bad.
See, the fun thing is that I know you already know this, but get ready to see like the absolute theoretical maximum of the PS2's asset creating power.
Oh yeah.
Just absolute wizardry. Granted, you'll be probably playing it on the personal computer, but still.
Yes. Just, you know, but there's a couple of short things I'd like to get taken care of before another long committal, because we're still in the post Elden Ring cleanse. So, you know, both of those games are not very long. They're going to be a couple weeks at most, and then we'll be moving on.
Whatever you do for Silent Hill 3, you keep that puzzle difficulty on normal or below, because the hard versions of those puzzles are like bordering on impossible without like university degree level knowledge.
I see.
Like, they are the most absurd, like, don't give you shit puzzles I've ever seen in my life.
Normal's been fine so far. I mean, I've been just going through them on normal for each game, and, you know, haven't noticed any issues. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. But regardless, it's yeah, like I said, it's a short trip. It's, you know, I'm hoping for 2, maybe 3 sessions tops. Before
it's not long.
Yeah. and I'd like to get some of the like shorter game, a sequel cleanup done, in the next little bit. So going to be going into some of that stuff. But yeah, we'll be starting that on Wednesday. And then we will be having a special Friday night stream where we'll sit down and we'll watch whatever the fuck gets sent our way in some bullshit. We're going to start like that. It's going to be an extra thing on Friday. We're going to try to figure out how best to work it into the schedule to not take away from other recording time. But for now, an extra day is being introduced, and we'll see how that goes, and then we'll decide how to proceed after that. So I think the way, and I've already asked some of the mod friends to help take a look and verify things are kosher for stream.
So I
have
something to say about that. I did take a look at some of your videos on my bullshit on Saturday. It's too weird.
Too weird?
It's too weird. It's too weird for two reasons. One, watching LP content is strange to me. Always has been. The second of which is that more than any viewer ever who watches any of your videos, the desire to like reach out and like push you is so overwhelmingly intense because I have reached out and pushed you, but I no longer can. And it's just like, no, just no. No, I can't do it.
Good.
Can't do it.
The backfire is good. That's about right. Perfect. That's exactly how it should be. It should be super weird. It should feel incestuous.
It did. It felt very strange.
It should feel that way. Excellent. I'm glad. Yeah. The way I'd like to go about figuring out how to do this, and I'm curious because the quality filter will certainly help in both cases. I want to do two things. One, I'm gonna make a Twitter thread, and I'll see people can reply in that and just pop some things in, and then some of the friendly folks that mod can take a look and compile that into a little list. And then the other thing I'd like to do is I want to make a Reddit thread and see what gets upvoted there and see the difference between the quality of these two sources and judge accordingly.
It's like I have been running a method of I have a Twitter thread and I literally just hit add to watch later and then skim it to see if there's a dick in it, which has led to the wildest quality delta of anything I have ever seen in my life. And I think my favorite one was when I was doing the last one. I think a couple FF14 videos came up, and people were like, what is with this FF14 bias? And I'm like, it's people who watch my channel adding the videos! Where do you think it's coming from?
Yeah.
What, are you fucking stupid?
I would like to see the difference in taste from these places. So that's how we're gonna roll it out. So yeah, for now I'm gonna put the schedule out, but it's gonna be Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, Friday night. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna see how this goes, and then I'll take notes and figure out what to do from there.
Oh, good. I'm streaming. I'm gonna be streaming Prey on Friday at like 3. Wait. Oh shit. Okay. Well, my shit's the same time. Should I move mine earlier? I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I usually don't do Fridays, but I don't want to take time off of Mass Effect or cut into Silent Hill.
Oh, that's what I ended up doing. All the React Andes are on Saturdays as an extra stream because, like, let's be real blunt, it's not the most high effort, high energy shit in the world.
No, I certainly I understand that. At the same time as well, then the other opportunity is to, cut into fighting game stuff, which, for some people it'd be like, yeah, do it. But I never want to do that.
Yeah, no, do it.
I feel behind and bad on that anyways, and I never want to lose touch of that. I mean, the fact that, like, we had there's some fun clips that I'm going to be popping up on MultiVersus the algorithm that are fighting game related, and like the one that went up had some people going like, "Dude, you wanna beat the algorithm? Why are you posting this shit?" I'm like, because I would literally rather stop streaming as a career than stop being into fighting games or talking about them or doing content for them. I'd sooner quit
one day that
this
gun
entire
is
thing.
gonna be to your head when fighting games are made illegal.
Well, then find me in the underground. Search.
Then only criminals will have fighting games.
Look for the reboot spray paint. You'll find me. I would sooner fucking leave than stop doing that. Don't be ridiculous. Fuck off with that. I'm never gonna stop. It's my favorite shit ever. It's the shit that I ignore all this other shit I'm playing because I love this. It ain't going anywhere, guys. So that's important to me. That's how I feel. We're gonna see how this goes, test the waters, and yeah, I'll report back to everybody.
Now, make sure everyone to go watch Wooly's stream and give him a nice existential crisis about what streaming actually is now. Mm-hmm. I'm 3 weeks into this Andy shit, and I'm still having it intensely every time I turn the camera on. It's very strange.
All good. I'm prepared. And, again, at best and at worst, if you don't have time for that, I suppose you can catch it on MultiVersus the algorithm in an enhanced form. There's some, that shit's going.
Oh,
well.
you're gonna chop it and fucking filter it for the tubes.
Hopefully, providing that the tubes doesn't reject anything and get on my ass about.
I was talking to Eli
claims
about it, and he was just like, "Yeah, don't even send it to YouTube."
Okay.
Literally, don't even bother.
I'm again. It depends on what it is, and I'd rather test the waters because, like, for me, I stream to record, to edit, to post, right? I don't have the VOD dump situation where the stream is the main thing. So I would rather come up with a solution where something's salvageable. If it's a game related stuff, I imagine that's usually fine. Just certain things, music or movie or copyright oriented, might be a problem. But select things, I'm willing to try and see how it's received by the upload. Anyway, so that's coming. The only other thing I would say is played a fuck ton of Rumbleverse, and
it's good.
Did some local co-op as well. Me and Reggie went in playing the duos, having so much fun with that. Really enjoying it.
Before I go back to that, I'm gonna have to look up because tech now exists.
And there's combos, there's jump canceling. Setups you can do. There's good, like, if you want to do advanced combos, you got to wall splat people. You got to do.
Yeah, so I was doing some very basic wall splat, which would like Irish whip into combo into second wall splat into grab. But then I was seeing people like you can do a third wall splat if you throw a book specifically. But the book has to be the right distance of them coming off the wall into the air.
Mm-hmm. Sprinting with wood planks is a thing. Better climbing with air dodge into vaulting. The Natsu volleyball bump, jump cancel into whatever you kind of follow up you want. That shit's great.
Like dolphin dive, jump cancels?
You can dolphin dive, and then on the hit, you can jump cancel into stuff. And
oh god, that's why the whole time I was using dolphin dive, I'm like, what is this good for? I can't understand it. And now you're telling me you can jump cancel it. I'm like, oh,
take it, go to the lab,
go
to the training mode, do dolphin dive, jump, and then just do air grab. And you'll dolphin bump, jump, and do an air suplex right in like.
Apparently, the fucking sphere shot is like meta now.
Eject shot is fantastic to have for certain situations in when the circle closes in and there's an edge to the map. Similar
No,
for...
but apparently it combos directly into super.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Because
that then.
you can jump cancel the kick, and they go straight up.
So, well, here's what I was going to get into is that the once you advance out of the beginners league, like the prospect league, fighting gets way harder because you're fighting against people who know the system now, and like that initial phase of just like slapping around, and people waking up and doing lariat every time they get up, like they're way less predictable. People are learning how to fight, and they're using defense, they're using their blocks better, they're being more unpredictable, challenging and such. So like it'll get a lot you'll notice how tougher it is to win in the next phase. So you have to do things
I feel like grabs across the board need to be faster.
I mean, but they can't be faster than hits, right?
Sure, but you can react to the red flash on reaction every time,
and that's intended. I would say that like the spear tackle is too fast, right? That thing advances way too quickly at you, and goddamn does it work and do damage. And it's a lot of the time I find that harder to react to.
You're right. It is much harder to react to that.
So I don't want that to be the situation for most grabs. There has to be a happy medium.
No, my main thing is that it's like you get in the situations where you're both holding your blocks up, and if you attack somebody on block, then the block stun off of you is enough for them to retaliate. But if you go to grab them and they hit you out of it, that'll work. But if you go to grab them while you're blocking, they can roll out of the way on reaction, and it's this weird stalemate that seems to go nowhere.
But it's if you're playing with like trying to go back to back actions, things are timed to have hard counters. What fucks that up is by waiting a little bit. If you wait a little bit, you call out the roll and then you hit them, and then there's nothing they can do, or you wait out and then you grab, and then like it's just like a fighting game. If you're taking my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, and we're doing it as tight as possible, when I eventually decide to do a shoryuken or a roll, it's gonna work. But if I add a delay where you can fuck yourself up, that changes the rhythm, There's other things as well with movement options. For example, if you're playing neutral like that, implement an air dodge, right? In fact, implement a jump instant air dodge, poison mist, right?
Okay.
And so you're fucking with the rhythm, and when you get that delay, you land, and then you can start up whatever you want. There's tech like that that's really good that you're seeing people do at the advanced leagues. And it's like, yeah, this is how footsies look when you're both just used to staring at each other, holding block and waiting for an opening and waiting to react,
I just find it strange because we have the basic thing is rock, paper, scissors, which is hit, block, grab. But block beats hit and hit beats grab, but block doesn't actually... Sorry, grab doesn't beat block because it's reactable.
Yeah, so I mean in fighting games, the triangle is often that like walking spacing is what or jumping in that case would beat a neutral grab attempt. It depends on whether you have advantage or not, but in many cases, hit priority is going to beat grab priority is going to beat someone delaying or someone being predictable and you avoiding what they just did and punishing them, So spacing yourself out is really the third option on that rock, paper, scissors train game, rather. But yeah, jump poison, really good. Jump poison into punchline works, And like this is like, again, you want some tech that's like applies at the when you're playing at the higher levels and stuff. Here's a fucking great one. You see a giant swing, or you see jacked shot. Which, for those of you who don't know, yes, that's literally the Final Fantasy X eject shot, you can do that to people in this game.
Yeah.
In Rumbleverse.
You sure isn't it the sphere shot? Because the eject shot has you spin horizontally, whereas the sphere shot is like a backflip.
I think there's different levels for it's called the rect shot, but I think that's the purple version. So there's the low level, and I think the green, blue, purple all have different names for the level of it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. But anyway, my point is that, like, if you do that on somebody while your back is facing the ledge or whatever, you knock them out, right? So both of those are great for ringing people out, but you don't know if you're going to actually need it. You find one of those books on the ground, you, instead of implementing it into your build right away, pocket that shit, save it to see where the circle closes. And if the circle closes on a ledge, then you switch to it. Otherwise, build up a build that you're going to like. You're going to lose a chicken slot, obviously, but it's worth it because when the circle closes and you can knock people out with one good guess instead of having to win the full exchange, you're doing great, you know? So that's the type of tech that comes into play once the basic mind games are once we move past them.
I mean, that's all great. I just wish grab was faster. I find it strange that you can react to all grabs other than the tackle. I don't think you can react to. That's really
it doesn't feel like you can. No.
But like if I catch somebody blocking and I hit grab, I should grab them and vice versa.
Because it's not meant to be a tick throw. It's meant to be.
They should have tick throws. The game should have. I would love if you could choose the ability to remove all your heavy combos, so that your triangle, instead of, you could do jab and then tick.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's meant to be a mind read. I don't mind the way it's implemented. I think that's fine. It's a call out. It gives you a much better reward. And if you do it from a higher surface, the damage is amplified. And you
that's great.
And furthermore, you can combo into it and bounce off of surfaces to amplify that damage. There's so much reward behind landing a grab that I'm okay with it the way it is. Work for it. Earn it. Mind game them if you're going for the raw version. Or combo into it. You know? Irish Whip. Free grab.
The Irish Whip is a grab.
But I mean off the splat.
Yeah, but
it's running. The running grab is advancing faster than the normal raw one is, right? Or
I'm just frustrated because in the wrestling game about wrestling and throwing people, my thing of like, I wish grabs were better. The response is, yeah, but think of all the combos you can do. I'm like, no, I want to throw people in my wrestling game. Like,
I just disagree. I think that the fact that damage piles up for them so nicely and that you can combo into them already means that there's a lot going on with grabs. It just means you have to get a little bit, you have to work into it a little bit more, and that you're talking about like getting them raw versus comboing into them, you know?
No, I'm not talking about getting them raw. I'm talking about if somebody is blocking and you hit grab, you should get it. Period. It should be instant. It should work like a grab in any other game. Like one of my favorite, I don't like the game itself, but what was it? Not Yomi. It should have been called Yomi. The game that is Yomi. What the fuck is it called?
Fantasy Strike?
Fantasy Strike. Yeah. The way to tech your grab is to just do nothing. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
That's great. That is like neutral as a tech is really good. But yeah, and the other thing too is as well is that like in the air it's almost instantaneous when you do those call outs, by the way. I don't know if you've landed any air grabs on people.
Yeah, it's strange why it's so fast in the air specifically.
It's not, because it resembles the way air command grabs work in like Street Fighter. So let's say you're playing as Guy and you do his Tiger Knee 360, right? The fact that he can grab you 1 foot off the ground instantly, it just emulates those rules in fighting games of like the moment you call that out, it's you have 200 IQ, you get the reward for having 200 IQ, you know? So and I did that. I landed an air super on somebody that was like waiting to jump off of a car to get away from me. And I'm like, okay, I'll just jump and grab instead. And the game's like, oh yeah, you did it. No, don't worry about it. We're gonna make that work right away. So that is a hard enough thing to land, but this isn't Street Fighter. Yes, but you still have to work very hard to earn it, right? The point of this isn't Street Fighter, but there's 100 hand slaps, SPDs, and other things, and Shoryukens for a reason, right? Like the idea of how hard you have to work to land that in making a hard read on somebody gives you the payoff for that successful read. It's great. I really like that part. And then the other thing...
I think we come to this grappling from different places. I come from a place of, if I made the decision to grab at the moment that they were not expecting it, they should just die.
However, you will note...
And you are coming from a place of like a more technical grappling game. Like, I want instant SPDs, man.
Right, but you'll also note that...
I do a circle with my character and hit grab, that grab should be instant.
You'll also note that in most fighting games, you can't grab someone during block stun, right? You have to wait for them to be back to neutral for it to work. In something like BlazBlue, you can, but like most games, they don't let you hit someone in block stun.
Yeah, BlazBlue's block stun shit is filthy. So it is techable, right?
So normal grabs, you have the 2 exclamation marks for a really late tech, or 1 for or maybe it's the other way around. But yes, you have extra late techables if you combo into it. But I think for command grabs, it has a different rule. I'm not 100% on that. But comboing into grabs for less reward and easier escape is, excuse me, it's like a are you sleeping test, you know? Anyway, MultiVersus is a lot of fun, and I'm working very hard cosmetically to enjoy the way my character looks. I'm putting on everything I can to just be like, okay, I have a cool looking character, and that'll satisfy me for now / not annoy me with everything else going on in the aesthetics. But it involves me putting on the welder's mask and just pretending that I'm a fucking Daft Punk robot. Essentially.
Yeah, I really need to get back and play more Rumbleverse. Maybe I'll play some tonight.
Yeah, and the part that I'm enjoying too is like when I remember when I was playing Apex and like was getting used to the map and going like, okay, if I decide to go pick this area, I know the layout. This is gonna be risky, but you know.
Oh, I go to the highway every single time.
Highway every time. Highway's great.
Every time.
Highway's great. There's other great areas though, right? You can go pick a fight in the hot zones on top of the skyscrapers.
I found those to be a really good way to get thrown off to like your almost death within 5 seconds of the start of the game.
Well, what you got to do is come in second so that you can knock someone off with your landing, and then use the boxes to throw them at people and scramble.
Like the towers, whoever gets to the tower first always is the moment where they're like, yay, and they start reading something only to get launched off to their death every time.
The easiest place to do that is the scaffolding as well. Not the scaffolding, the construction cranes. You knock someone off on those and they're gone. And then there's stuff like Pavilion, where there's good shit in there and it's on the ground. Earn it. If you think you can fight, come here and do it, you know?
There's the WB water tower looking thing that is also like a wild death trap.
But it's what I really, the rhythm of the fact that like if you start out with no fighting and you just build your character out and then move in, that'll be one solid way to go, except you're perkless, or you start out scrapping, you get those perks right away, you pray to God you get meditative, and then you work on the build afterwards, you know?
What's interesting to me is that you always start from the same side of the island. Like, I don't think I've ever seen the far side of the island from the boat that you get launched from.
Don't we rotate from different spots?
Yeah, but they're always on the same side. Like, you're always shooting
from the
out
south
with
side,
the highway in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, but it orients somewhat differently. It doesn't do a full, but
it's like a 30-degree angle along the south side. Yeah, you
But
always launch facing the highway with the suburbs on your right and the city center on your left.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that helps for learning the map at the very least, but like it could it could be interesting if like, well, I don't know, would it get too confusing for people if it kept rotating full 360 around? What do other games do?
People would, other games just go fuck it, do whatever.
Does Fortnite have different launch points
Oh yeah,
into the
no,
same map?
all the PUBG, Fortnite, Apex, you always come in at random angles and random tangents.
Okay. Apex, is it Apex always the same cannon point as well, where or drop point?
No,
where
absolutely not. No.
No?
No. Absolutely not. All random.
Because I'm trying to remember, it's been a while, but I feel like Skulltown is always over on the left, on the bottom.
Well, Skulltown is always in the same spot, but where the ship comes in on the map is always different.
Yes. No. It's the same orientation of the map, but the ship is making a line in a unique way every time. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, whereas in Rumbleverse, you're launching from the same spot pretty much every time. I remember now.
Yeah. Fair enough. Anyway. So yeah, that's been fun.
Also the way that Rumbleverse fires you out of that cannon, the max distance from start is like a parallel line across the edge of the circle, where if you try and get max distance, you might be landing like right next to somebody. Like there's very little way to pick your spot and then go, I'm going to go there, and then when you're 10 seconds from landing, go, oh no, there's 6 other guys going to that spot. You can nudge it a little bit, but you don't have the ability to go, whoa, way off to the side. Like you couldn't say Apex. Apex gives you a stupid amount of control.
The amount of swerve on it. I have managed to swerve like from, say, Crane over to like a second highlight point, when I saw too many people. But I think Apex, you got a bit more control. And again, I've never seen the Fortnite.
Hey, Wooly, I have a quick question. Now that you're going to hop on the React Andy stream idea for that big popularity, when are you going to be hopping into fucking Fortnite duos?
I mean,
come on, bro. Offers right there. Get that chicken dinner.
I literally do not want to. I don't know how else to say that I do not want to do it. Is that not good enough of a reason?
So when are you going to do it, though?
Got it. Okay. So yeah, tune in. MultiVersus this week. Mass Effect will continue. Silent Hill 3 will start. And we will react on Friday.
Oh, hey, by the way, after finishing Dead Space, did you appreciate the not that smart overall, but still smarter than I thought Dead Space was, level select hidden message?
Yeah. That's a little like, wow, there it is. Plus, there's no level select menu, so you can spell it all out yourself.
You just have to remember. Yeah, if there was a level list, you'd be like, oh.
And also, could Nicole be any more of a Silent Hill character? Like, it feels like her dialogue was read out and recorded with a copy of Silent Hill on in the background.
I'm going to wait about 3 months to answer that question.
Okay. Feels aggressively like they wanted her to be from that basic Silent Hill character, got on a spaceship, and then sent Isaac a message.
Yeah, maybe. You promised me you'd take me to the USG Imishimura, but you never did. Well, I'm there now. In our special place, the medical room.
See, but the problem is that Isaac is not from Silent Hill. At all.
So are most of the characters in Silent Hill.
Ah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. MultiVersus on Twitch, Twitter. It's not Twitter. Twitch and YouTube. And, of course, MultiVersus the algorithm. New clips dropping every day. Fun stuff. What dropped today? Today was Spear Tackle is a powerful tool. And yesterday...
Oh, the algorithm?
Yep. Yesterday was Red Health. That ghost child is getting lit up. Good times.
You got Ghost Childs?
Oh yeah, when I was playing Silent Hill 2, and I had pretty low life, and Cheryl decided to jump scare me, so I shotgun scared her, and that was that.
Oh, that clip doesn't. That's not. What the? What? What is this clip? That's not in the game. You should go look at that clip. That's very interesting.
Silent Hill 1, my bad. Silent Hill 1. Right.
Whatever.
Let's take a quick break and use the bathroom, and then we'll be back.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Alrighty. This week. What the?
This week, yes.
Dreadflop.
This week.
The podcast is sponsored by HelloFresh. Hello. Fresh.
Fresh. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. HelloFresh is our sponsor, and they are the source of your farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients, seasoned recipes right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store. Count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. So, the deal is essentially that dealing with groceries sucks. Hate it. It's annoying. Takes a long time.
You gotta hold bags. You gotta talk to humans.
It's a whole.
It's annoying.
It's an ordeal, and we have moved beyond the need for that. In fact, we can get right down to specific meals that suit your tastes, that are, sorted out by chefs and specialists that know what tastes good, what's good for you, and you even don't have to worry about the portions of what you're cooking. It's all delivered exactly the amount you need. Oftentimes, they've got meals for 2. They've even got meals for 4 in some cases. And, it comes out pretty tasty. I was enjoying some of the barbecue spiced pork chops the other day. They were quite good. I as well enjoyed pesto chicken. I'm a big fan of that flavor of chicken, and they had some pretty delicious sides going alongside that. And I'm trying to keep things a little more lean with my meat consumption, and they've got the options in case you want to go a little more green, in case you want to go a little more protein. I do tend to jump on and off of keto, but of course they've got regular, family friendly, fit and wholesome, a tons of different options to choose from. In fact, there's 55 plus weekly options you can pick from. So you take the stress out of the meal planning and prepping, you leave it to the experts, and if you're heading out on vacation, such as I was gone for 2 weeks the other day, you can update. You can have them deliver it to your destination with just a click if that's what you want, or you can make your plan flexible, change your schedule. Whatever you need, HelloFresh is available for that. And in fact, it's also 72% cheaper than dining in at restaurants, and is even cheaper than grocery shopping. So you're saving money while not having to deal with the hassle of the shopping cart and shopping cart courtesy. You
get to ignore the moral dilemma that is the shopping cart trolley problem.
When you get back to your car and then you put all the groceries away, and then you can see who decides to leave the shopping cart out or who doesn't, and that'll be how people judge if you're a good person or not. Just completely remove yourself from the situation. No one will judge you if you're not even there. The food is delivered to your house.
How could they?
You are above the moral dilemma. You are above it. So, get on in there. Enjoy the options and the seasonal new recipes that also stay fresh and remixed, 20-minute meals, etc. All of that good stuff. You just got to go to hellofresh.com/superbeast16 and use code superbeast16 for 16 free meals. So that's 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. One more time, that's hellofresh.com/superbeast16. And if you use the code superbeast16, you're going to get 16 free meals across 7 boxes, and you're going to get 3 free gifts. So that's America's #1 meal kit. Thank you, HelloFresh.
Thanks, HelloFresh. I love you.
All right. So, in the news this week.
Hey, Wooly, before we do any of the news, I gotta send a video to you. It's 1 minute long. You can just skim right through it. It's making me laugh. Fucking IGN's coming at you hot with a full minute of Gotham Knights boss fight footage, which is 50 seconds of a cutscene, and then Nightwing does 2 gigantic energy blasts that have damage numbers pop up off of the Harley Quinn, and it looks so bad.
Is this a addendum to our FMV Gamescom cutscene conversation?
Yes, it sure is. It sure is.
Okay.
I'm gonna post for anybody watching it live. I'm gonna put it in the chat. To those of you who are not watching this live, it's IGN posted at August 26th, 3:38 p.m. It is.
Oh my god!
Hilarious.
Harley doesn't have pigtails anymore.
No, it's a new version.
She's got.
And it's just like, check out this boss fight with 30 seconds of lead up to have Nightwing shoot fucking energy blasts out of his
He shot an energy blast. Okay, the cutscene ended. He shot an energy blast. He did a combo. He backflipped 8 times. He's shooting a second energy blast, and then the cutscene starts.
Wow! What a hot boss fight! That game is going to be terrible.
This could have been edited for Twitter. This could have been edited for a 1-minute highlight. It's entirely possible that the boss fight itself will not be 100% as accurate as this tweet seems to imply.
I don't know, man. Every time I see that game, they're just desperate to show as much of the cutscenes as possible and as little of the gameplay as possible.
But the people they're selling this to like that, so the
people when they were selling the Arkham games, all their trailers were like, look at Batman take out this whole room, and it was unedited gameplay. Look at Batman do a big fight. Here's the entire Bane boss fight. Or here's the entire Mr. Freeze boss fight as a trailer.
I feel okay. I have to go. I have to see how those. You know what? I haven't played those games, so I have to.
They were when they were putting out those Arkham games. They were insanely confident to show off as much as they wanted.
I feel like from a distance, over time they've gotten so big that like you just start doing that AAA. Don't even worry about whether it's gameplay or not thing. And it was funny because that led to like a thing where I was just like I was talking to Reggie about like how Gamescom went, and I was just like, dude, you know what? In fact, you would have loved it, because he's like, he can't tell the difference between, you know, shiny FMV and versus gameplay, and he's just like, damn, I really would have had fun, you know, like it works on the very, very basic appeal level, you know, to anyone who's not pulling out a magnifying glass like we are. That being said, I do suspect this is a Twitter edit, dude.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm watching the full boss fight, and it's still very bad.
Okay.
The whole fight is make sure to shoot Harley with your energy guns coming out of your sticks so that she doesn't hit you. Oh, my God. It looks so bad.
Well, I look forward to seeing whatever misconceptions I have about the series getting cleared up as I go through them. Yeah.
I mean, you played Arkham Asylum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's 2 more games that are like that but bigger.
I also saw the testing in the office when City was there, and most of what I walked by was people grapple gliding through the city.
Yeah, because it ruled. You fly as the Batman.
So, what's going on? Well, speaking of Batman, I suppose, MultiVersus has currently topped the July's best-selling game list according to the NPD.
That's good work, Morty.
Now,
it's good.
This is the reason.
MultiVersus 100 years forever, Morty.
Now, the reason why this not bad there. The reason why this is I think kind of notable is because this is a free-to-play game that is still the highest grossing because of the Founder Pack promotion. So,
Yeah, that's not surprising at all, actually. People
mhm.
do like fighting games. They just hate paying for fighting games.
Except for when they have the opportunity to on an otherwise free game, then they spend enough for it to be the top selling game of that month.
That's right.
So,
You got to
uh,
trick people into playing fighting
trick
games.
people into playing fighting games, and it worked, and it beat out Elden Ring. So there you go. this is your fucking proof. If we can, gotcha. Oh no, I'm playing a fighting game.
Oh no! Oh jeez.
No. It if anything, it just kind of is like, hey, look, that's a really nice piece of data for giving people something that they enjoy in the form of a fighting game that is again accessible to everybody, free, and then the optional monetization there looks like it's working out for them. I'm sure that's the kind of money that I don't know, a Capcom or an SNK or an Arxis would be interested in. So just fucking start moving that way, please. Start thinking about
That
that.
reminds me. Do you have the interview with Jun Takeuchi about Resident Evil 7 on the docket this week?
I don't.
So this came out like 10 minutes before we started. There's an interview with Jun Takeuchi working on Resident Evil 7,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently the game wasn't doing so good, and part of the reason was that Capcom was adamant that every game that came out was going to push online connectivity and live service and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, RE7 was not looking too good. So the head of the company said, Jun, get in there, fix RE7, make a good game, sell money, right? And him and the creative team, like all the leads, were like, okay, what do we want RE7 to be? And they just started going down the list and like crossing off features that they didn't want to put in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the quote is, and then at the end, we ended up with marketing's nightmare, a regular old survival horror game.
Amazing.
And marketing and like some of
Amazing.
the heads above them were like furious. And they were like, yeah, whatever. No, this is what we're going to make.
Yeah. Oh god. No, don't just make a normal game. You're missing out. That's money on the table. Oh. That's great. I like that a lot. Boy, they hate it.
That decision probably saved Resident Evil. Because then if not, we would have gotten another RE6, right? And that would have killed it for good.
But like, what really is annoying is that like there's no accountability for that type of thing where it works out, and then like, is anyone going to go back and have the meeting with the people with the bad ideas and go, look how those bad ideas were not present here, and this worked because it wasn't that, right?
No, in fact, what happens is those people, from what I can tell, the way it works at Capcom is that when those people are determined to be morons, instead of telling them to shut up or get out of my face, they're given their own projects to like hide them away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they get, well, okay,
We'll show you.
we're not gonna fuck up Resident Evil or Devil May Cry with this.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go make Resident Evil verse. It's a multiplayer. It's a live service.
What I was waiting to say is, if the company is not willing to burn a mainline entry, but they're willing to spin off on a popular franchise, then they'll give you a spin off to go prove whatever and show you the gargantuan failure of it.
And then the guys working over on the RE-verse is like, what if we dragons... And then Itsuno just pushes them into the corner and then turns them around.
And then you just wait a little bit, and then the success of the normal thing becomes the new standard that everyone's talking about. And now you can just come back and go, okay, so when you're going to do more of this normal thing, we've got some great ideas for how you can amplify that experience. And then the cycle begins anew.
Right.
So, for example, how about we get a show on Netflix? That'll be amazing. And let's well, you know, I mean, to be fair, if you get the right people involved with the Resident Evil live action thing, it doesn't have to be an utter mess. But either way,
Sure?
The Netflix live action thing is canceled. One season, it's done.
4 separate attempts in, and they're all garbage.
What about just? Wasn't one of those CG ones okay?
No.
I thought you said.
Also,
I thought you said one of them was alright.
No. They are all very bad.
Oh,
but
boy.
also, I didn't even include that because those are canon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually talking about like mainstream spin-off Resident Evil. The Romero script is bad and never made it to production. The Mila Jovovich shit is trash.
Mm-hmm.
The remake that's like this like classic is bad, and then this new show is bad.
Okay. Is it that the CG movies are better than all the live action ones so far?
No, they are also bad. But because they're CG and technically canon, they get to live in the same horrible spin-off universe that like the novelization of Revenge of the Sith lives.
I've heard different.
From fucking who?
I don't
Who
even
fucking
know.
told you that those Resident Evil CG movies were not bad?
I don't even know at this point, but there's a bunch of people right now that seem to be on that train. But I don't fucking whatever. Either way.
You gonna listen to them, or you gonna listen to the guy who has a copy of the fucking mid-90s Resident Evil novels sitting around in boxes?
Caliban Cove?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not even the stupidest one. It's the worst one, but it's not the stupidest one. Underworld's the stupidest one.
I will continue listening to neither of you, and that's the way I'm going to live my life. So,
hey, as somebody who spent a disproportionate amount of their life trying to figure out the Resident Evil story instead of watching The Godfather, let me tell you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
well, Netflix decided it wasn't worth it either, so they've canceled.
Yeah, I bet.
The Lance Reddick Wesker show, and that's that. One season and a couple of Zootopia porn references later, and they're hanging it up. Didn't quite land, but there's good news.
Is there?
They've clearly now that the show's canceled, there's room for a new show. And I think I have the perfect idea for what Netflix can replace Resident Evil with.
What's that?
Perfect timing, because with that opened up slot, they can go take a look at the life story of Koichi Sugiyama, the Dragon Quest composer, as he's about to get a TV show in Japan about his life.
Wow, that's a bunch of bullshit. Unless.
So it seems that.
But they're not.
It seems that the story is about how the creation of the iconic Overture Lotto's theme piece was made, and they're going to follow alongside, because it's kind of like, I know they did an anime one with Hideaki Anno. It seemed like that was a big hit, so I guess they're going to be doing some live action dramas starring other popular figures, and Dragon Quest composer Mr. Sugiyama, his life is next. So we'll get to the bottom of how the composed music for Dragon Quest came to be, starting with episode 1, The Truth About Nanking. A couple of words.
Followed by episode 2, we didn't do nothing to those Koreans, and even if we did, they deserved it.
Episode 3, The Comfort
Dragon
Woman
Quest.
were good, though, actually. And also Dragon Quest, yes. And of course, I'm looking forward to episode 5, The gays don't have kids, so they don't matter and are unproductive. This would be a perfect acquisition.
It's pretty wild that the guy's so toxic that that's a pretty weak final series of takes compared to the earlier shit. Like, usually you'd be like, oh, that's horrible. But in this context, you're like, oh, he's calming down.
Yeah, but episode 1, Always Sunny, the gang gets racist, you gotta open on a bang, all right? A few words about Nanking. You gotta open nice and strong to get the viewer in the mindset to learn about Dragon Quest music. So I think that would be a great acquisition for Netflix if they decided to replace Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Episode 5, LGBT who?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Good guy. Good history. Good times. In fact, you know he's a good guy because the lead actor said, I can't wait to show off what kind of person he is as the show begins.
Hey,
so
listen. We're making a lot of fun. Who knows? They may actually just really go for it. And be like, I'm doing a big composing. Meanwhile, big asshole. Who knows? I don't think that's what they're gonna do, but they could.
You know, the breakdown here on of the introduction of the show, it doesn't seem like they're going for that angle. Seems like they're going for the fluff piece. But we'll find out this weekend when it airs, and we'll see if it's worth getting acquired by Netflix. So there we go. Oh yes, of course. Oh no, I did mention the comfort women were good actually, and when there was a resolution to ask the Japanese government to apologize for the sexual slaves, he actually came out and said, no, don't apologize.
And then he wrote a little ditty.
He wrote a letter saying, stop it, don't apologize for that. That was awesome. So, cool guy. Real.
I don't think the letter was like, no, don't. It ruled.
I do.
That was sick nasty. Oh, okay.
You say that, but I do think that's what the letter said.
Oh, man.
It ruled was how he actually ended it. So, yeah. Good times. Let's learn about Dragon Quest together and its music.
You know, this reminds me of, it's like, because Japan, China, and Korea, they have some shit, some historical shit, right? And it reminds me of the Yakuza series, which I have described treats like Koreans like body snatchers or like fucking space aliens, but they wanted to turn it around, right? They wanted to have the games do well in Korea because that's a big market for Japanese games. Mm-hmm. So what they did was they cast a pop star in the role of a super cool villain, the guy who looks like Virgil, in Yakuza 6.
Okay.
Right? And then it has like, well, look, Koreans are like a cool mafia group in Yakuza 6, and they're going to be a big part of it. And then they marketed it heavily in Korea, and it was all set to go. And the game got banned a day before it went for sale by the ratings board in Korea and just never released there.
Uh-huh. Any reason why?
Because fuck them. That's literally the reason. The reason is someone who had a rubber stamp decided, nah, fuck them.
I see. Wow. Well, yeah. Well, I think a show like this is going to do wonders for relations between the two countries, really.
Oh, I'm certain.
You know? And of all the franchises of games and composers there have been that are classics, you know, of all the Michiru Yamanes of the world, the Sakaguchis and the fuck it, like just all the places to go. We had to land on this one because DQ. So
yeah.
All right.
It's just wild because you hear the Dragon Quest theme. It's like da 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 da. And it's like, oh wow, it's so chill and happy and operatic. And every time I hear it, I think about the fucking rape of Nanking. And like, great, that's the exact association they were totally going for.
And
I got the feeling that people at Enix were just like head in hands, like we can't get. Can you? There's no way to make him quiet, right? Like just he's not going to stop. He's old. He can't.
That's the thing though. And now let's triple down by making a series about it. Like let's let's like go all the way in the opposite direction instead of just trying to quietly shove it in the corner.
Yeah, because there was a period of like he died and everyone was like, great, now I can enjoy Dragon Quest without thinking about this. And then they're like, no, he's a big hero. Ah, I was like, oh man.
Yeah. Good times. Put a statue up.
Yeah, that's popular. People like that. People like statues.
Yeah.
Of cool guys who thought cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you know what would be an excellent base for his statue?
What's that?
A mass grave of severed ears.
Oh, good. Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot that was a thing
Yeah.
that they still had.
No, don't forget about that one. Don't forget about that.
Oh.
All right. So anyway, that'll be airing this weekend. Other things going on, though, of course. Netflix is also going to be. I love it. It's great.
I know this. I already know. I already fucking know.
No, it's great when just in the midst of casually discussing the circumstances and things going on in the world, and people just go, wait, what's happening? What history? Huh? It's like, oh yeah, guys, no, there's stuff, not good, bad things out there. You should know about them. But anyway, video games.
Yeah.
Not Netflix. Feature film adaptation of the renowned video game franchise BioShock has been announced to be directed by. You didn't hear about this?
I thought you were going to talk about the Ring of Power thing.
Oh, no. I'm talking about BioShock movie coming. Directed by I Am Legend director Francis Lawrence. Also Hunger Games stuff. And script written by Michael Green, behind Logan, Blade Runner 2049, and American Gods. Now, I liked 2 of those 3 things.
I agree. The BioShock movie that needs to happen won't happen because it needs to be like BioShock might be the least subtle political game that's ever come out after maybe Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fucking 12-hour treatise to making fun of libertarians.
Yeah, but the reception is, yo, Andrew Ryan, what a boss. I'll put him on the shelf next to Armstrong.
Oh.
And fucking Deltarune, what's his name? The what's his name? Want to make a deal?
Spamton.
And just be like, you make fun of me, but we love it, unironically. Yeah.
Oh man, I just. So like, here's what. Okay, BioShock trailer, right? What is the? It's gonna be a Art Deco 50s rendition of a edgy song, maybe a Nine Inch Nails song, something like that.
You think so?
Right? That thing.
Breathy vocals could be.
Yeah, and the voiceover for it has to be the Andrew Ryan actor's speech of is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow. No, says the parasite. No, says Washington. No, says the Vatican.
I mean, I see all that, but the main important factor is that it's going to be panning through sets of like clean, perfect Rapture, and then cutting to destroyed Rapture in like little jumps, right? And the paper is rolling around and all the craziness, but it's going to be really low budget because it's not going to have the money to fucking
I
like
think
look as good as it would need the money to look good for.
I think the biggest problem about Rapture is that Rapture itself might be like one of the most expensive like movie sets I could think of to build,
barring
even
Columbia.
If you're gonna CG. Yeah, but even all this, like, even the CG on the windows alone, like every single opening, and the worst thing they could do, like way worse than having the CG on the windows look bad, is to just have tons of the sets take place within rooms that have no windows,
windowless, like
so,
yes,
which like no, it's a city under the goddamn ocean. Almost every room in the show must somehow show the ocean.
Well, it's a movie, but I still see there being like your expensive sort of introduction, and you know that's the most money you're going to see spent on the underwater shit, and then the amount it would need is not what it's going to get.
I can see a lot of basements that have like a bucket of water being poured out by like a staffer in a corner every couple of minutes in the background.
Water creaking through the little like seal door. Emergency, hit the shutters, hide all the windows. Now every window is shut. You can't look outside at the water.
I can also say that like all your classic plasmids are not going to be associated with the main cast. Instead, they are going to be associated with monster mans that will chase down the character. Oh no, it's a fireman. Oh no, it's a man made out of bees.
And finally, we will get the answer that every BioShock fan has been waiting for. What do they look like under the Big Daddy suit? We're gonna take.
They look like weirdos.
We're gonna take the Big Daddy suit off, and you're gonna see it yourself. The answers you've been dying to know, because we gotta see. We want to know, right? That's the most important part. Good times.
This thing's gonna be like.
I mean, the names that they've announced there are people that can make a good project. So I'm hoping, but I also would rather just we don't even go down this adaptation game. But here we are. You know, Netflix is hard committing. So, you know, let's see it. Let's see the breathy vocals. Let's see the set. Let's see the you know, cuts. And then maybe even after that, like, you're going to have a little, like, moment of, like, like a little bit of action and a would you kindly... something, you know, whatever, and then just the BioShock, and then the big N. You know, that's it. Just a little hint.
You know, it's funny because you could make a good video game movie. You could, but you'd never believe it by the history. Ever.
Alternative take, trailer 2. Because this is also very large and thematic, you just go with the full-on Little Sisters Ring Around the Rosie style trailer, hand in hand, skipping little girl, you know, the innocence, and then the murder and the innocence, and then the murder.
You know, the more that I think about it, like Netflix picking up the BioShock is extra nuts because like everything in that setting is so expensive. Like the Big Daddy, if you want to do it practical, it's crazy pricey. If you don't want it to look like paper mache, right? You got to get little kids and put little kids in makeup and have little kids be actors on your set. Like fuck.
I'm pretty disappointed because, I mean, I believe maybe almost a decade ago, I was talking about how I thought that the direction for game adaptations to go in was set. I thought Uwe Boll set a new trend, and I thought we were going to just see it get to the point where in theaters we'll just be watching gameplay.
Yeah.
And sadly, House of the Dead was the beginning and end of just watching game footage in a theatrical release. But I still have hope that we'll get there, where the title of the movie will just be you watching the game.
Like, I still bring it up every time, and I'm not sure what Resident Evil movie it's from, but, Wooly, you played RE5. Many of the people listening to this played RE5. When you encounter Wesker at the missile, and he throws his sunglasses at you, and Chris catches them, and then he proceeds to absolutely beat your ass down in the cutscene. And then they adapted that shot for shot in a feature film, but all the directing is garbage and all the acting is flat and no one knows and it's just like, this was directed by a video game director in a performance capture studio. Why is the RE5 cutscene 100 times more professional than the feature film? Like, what the fuck is going on?
I unironically would love a feature film where the team behind the game just gave all the tools to another studio to just create cinematic cutscenes out of like assets they have. So like load the models into the boss fight room, play out a boss fight, you know, and do it via with dramatic cuts that you couldn't see in gameplay, camera placement, and action and weapons that you couldn't see in gameplay. But use the assets to just create the damn thing, and that'll be it. Can't get any more faithful than that.
Sonic's the only good one. Still.
Video game adaptation?
Yeah.
We had this conversation like 5 times already. I think we always come up
I know, but it's still funny that still Sonic's the only... Somebody in the chat just said Final Fantasy movie. You can go straight to hell.
No, it's not. We've done this. Like, Castlevania was pretty good.
Castlevania's not a film. Sorry, I'm gonna say film. People are saying Mortal Kombat? Okay, fine. Mortal Kombat and Sonic.
Silent Hill, I didn't see it, but you know.
No, I'll tell you right now.
Okay, dude, we can't do this again. We literally can't do this again.
I can do everything.
Shut up. No, it's enough. Moving on. Jesus Christ. Other things are going on. You know what else is going on? A PlayStation has announced a price hike on the PlayStation 5 across.
That's pretty wild.
All markets except for America.
Yeah, so that's pretty fucking funny because everyone is mad, obviously, that it raised like $20-30 or whatever it is.
10% generally.
But you can't buy it because it's selling out every shipment. So what possible incentive do they have to do anything but fuck you over as much as they want?
Naturally. Now, the funny part is that this is the due to inflation and whatever other reasons, they gave. But it's in Canada, but not in America. And it's like, so what circumstances are occurring uniquely across this border that are not occurring to America? Oh, is it just that you are trying to minimize the impact of how angry people are going to get at you?
Either that or they've surmised that Americans are significantly more broke than people in every other country that they sell the PlayStation. You hear that, Americans? Sony's saying you're too poor to get a price hike.
I don't even... like, I just took damage. So, yeah. Across the board, give or take 10%. And it looks like this is, whatever justification they've given, has elicited a response from both Microsoft and Nintendo, who have come out to say, oh yeah, no, we're not going to touch our prices. We're going to leave everything the same. Don't worry. We will not be following suit. So, wow. Of course.
I think the absolute goofiest thing is like, I probably like I'm gonna be needing a second PlayStation 5 at some point, like maybe within the year, and like I don't know how to get one.
Yep.
Still, like that's where that thing is still at. Like I literally don't even fucking know.
Someone just posted a reply in that thread with a screenshot of Marlowe holding the fucking the dealers meeting, just going, price is going up on the brick, you know, and it's like, yeah, that's what the scalpers are getting together and discussing. Basically, it's like, all right, you know, that pandemic, price going up.
Yep.
And completely unrelated, of course, Sony being sued for $5.9 billion, with the plaintiff claiming that Sony is overcharging consumers and abusing its position as a primary seller of PlayStation games digitally.
Yeah. That's okay.
Unrelated.
Okay. What does that have to do with nothing? No, nothing.
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 So yeah.
Can I buy PS5 off of the Best Buy? Not sold online and sold out in nearby stores. Nope.
Well, by in the near future, did you mean like right now?
No, not right now.
Okay.
But like, do you think anything's going to change in the next 5 months?
It hasn't changed over the course of 2-3 years.
So what does it matter if I look now or later? It's like,
speaking of things that are time sensitive. Oof, that was rough. All right, here, let's just get into it. A double Kickstarter has been announced for the spiritual successors to Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts.
okay.
So the creators of both Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts have gotten together to announce a double Kickstarter where they'll be collectively raising funds to produce the games Armed Fantasia and Penny Blood. And I mean, you look at the Armed Fantasia like key art, and it's like the font couldn't be any more like it, and they're staring into the long distance, and the trailer has them running through the desert fields and whistling music behind like they're going straight for it. But yes, it's a double campaign, so essentially both projects are, I guess, linked together, and they're asking for $750K to fund both games. This is a wild way to go about this, but they are currently actually halfway to their goal.
Really?
Yeah, they are at, as of the moment, $548K out of $942K Canadian. So adjust it, but they're pretty much at the halfway point right off the bat. So people are very excited for spiritual successors to Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts in the form of Armed Fantasia and Penny Blood. So
okay, I didn't think Arms in the. I don't think it was that.
Oh, Wild Arms! I know Wild Arms is fucking beloved. Shadow Hearts.
Yeah, that was years and years.
It was
years
a billion
ago.
years ago. It was. It certainly was. But
it was like 5 years ago or more.
At least 5 years ago, which means the entirety of 1995. No, 10 years ago, which is the entirety of 1995 to 2010. Is about 10 years ago. I remember watching a friend play through a bunch of Wild Arms 1, and I have very strong nostalgia for those hangouts and that the cool shit in that game. So I can understand the love and the desire for that. I don't know much about the sequels, but it seems, if I remember correctly, that was like some first-party Sony stuff. So they'd have to go through Sony, I imagine, to make an actual Wild Arms thing. Armed Fantasia, not Armed Fantasia, Shadow Heart. Shadow Hearts was it? Not Akuz, Aruz?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no goddamn idea who made any of that shit.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Like I
Okay.
barely, like I never touched Shadow Hearts once. I knew people who were into it, but I never actually got into it.
Okay. Fair enough. I thought you knew about these, but I don't have much knowledge about Shadow Hearts. But Wild Arms is the shit. That was very cool. Anyway, these are going along, and I mean, the 2-for-1 nature of this deal is very like, I don't like that. I don't like, that you set it high and then you're going to split your budgets accordingly or whatever the details would be there. It's a little messy, and it kind of is a little hostagey in a way if you're looking for a spiritual successor to either of these games, but you're more on one side than the other. But anyway, that's ultimately why I don't, like to fucking do a ton of Kickstarter things these days anyway. But it's out there. It seems like it's moving. Check it out if you are interested in those things, and don't if you're not. The footage of that they play for the trailer has a bunch of weird like time wasting costume bullshit in it. When it cuts to the game, it looks
that seems appropriate.
When it cuts to the game, it looks like they've got target renders in place. So I'm not gonna believe that what we see there is actually gameplay, despite the fake HUD they're showing on things. But anyway, that came out of the blue and is popping off pretty aggressively on day one. Yeah. It ain't Red Ash. It ain't Shenmue 3.
I believe that this will happen. This is a very clear like publisher push thing, investor like, look, we were able to raise 750K, because 750K for those two is not enough. Like not like $1 million wouldn't be enough for one of them,
unless they're aiming for extremely modest
poverty
indie games. Yeah. But it definitely could be that too. Anyway, so that's that, and Kickstarter continues to be a wary, distrustful place for projects like that these days. But we'll see how this goes. And last, Team Ninja has just announced their newest game, Wulong, which is basically vibes of Neo in China. So
I heard people talking good stuff about this.
Trailer looks pretty sick. Set in China, bigger locations, jump button, combat more focused on Chinese martial arts and speed, no stamina gauge, more than 10 weapon types, morale ranks for players and enemies. The higher, the harder they are to defeat.
Is there hot loot?
I would assume tons of hot loot. And hopefully an ability to auto-sort it on pickup.
Now, someone's going to come into your ass in a second and start screaming that feature already exists. You just have to set it up for the whatever rarity thing that you want. But no, that's not what you meant, and I know it.
Wulong. Wulong. I mean, look, man. Team Ninja has proven themselves more than needed with fucking Neo 2, and how awesome their quality of life.
And don't forget Stranger of Paradise.
Of course. So anything coming out of them, fuck yeah, worth a look. I'm always super down for more martial arts on top of...
People are saying in the chat that there's apparently
Wulong
less loot and more of an RPG focus. Okay. Re-interested.
I'm also interested in hand-to-hand focus.
That is cool.
That shit's cool.
Also, I know a hell of a lot more about like Japanese monsters than I do about Chinese monsters, so it's a nice change of pace.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like I don't know what China's got going on with its yokai situation.
There's probably tons of them.
I'm seeing a tiger monster. I'm down with that. That's cool.
Yeah. The vibe I thought of was like, I mean, it's like if you say it's Team Ninja doing Sekiro, it's like, well, Sekiro and like Neo are already overlapping in their subject matter, but but in terms of like switching to a different country and style, yeah, let's fucking see it. There's going to be tons of different martial arts to fucking cycle through and pick up moves from, and you can have a fist build viable with different styles. That'd be super cool. So China Neo coming soon. Wolong. And yeah, that's about it. Also, I'll say this, whatever this launches as, over time, it probably will just become something even better and crazier and become more of a beast.
After the DLCs.
Stranger of Paradise is probably not getting as touched. It's not getting the Neo treatment, but that probably has to do more with the publishing, right? Like, since that's...
No, it's getting a bunch of DLCs. They're just not done yet.
Okay. Because if they treat that the way they did Neo, that'd be awesome. I would love for that to become the gold standard for Team Ninja stuff. Very cool. All right. Shall we take a couple letters?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, before we go further, I just want to say, did you see that Amazon is saying that its entire streaming future is resting on the success of Rings of Power?
Oh my God! What?
That's what I was when you said Amazon earlier or whatever. That's why I started to lose it.
Oh,
because I'm like, okay, good.
Oh boy.
All right, get ready to fucking say goodbye to Amazon's fucking streaming future for TV and movies.
The thing that I did hear was Amazon was potentially talking about acquiring EA, and then it was whoops, never mind.
That was a
non-story.
That was a whoops, never mind.
Exactly. So it didn't bother going into it. But, well, betting the bank, are we? Always a solid. It's good stuff. Good stuff. I like that. I mean, I should probably just fucking check out House of the Dragon and see if there's anything there, but God, I don't know if I'm ready for that space in my life again, you know?
What's that? What space is that?
That's the new Game of Thrones thing. Like, I'm like, part of me is curious, but I'm also just like, I
literally didn't even know what you're talking about when you said House of Dragon.
New Game of Thrones show started.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
With the incest gang?
Yep. All of that. And I'm just like, fucking, like, JoJo's about to come back. Why am I going to fucking waste my time here? You know? I could be watching Sandman or Better Call Saul. Like, I don't fucking want to...
I should probably watch Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
It seemed like a thing I would want to watch.
No, it's pretty good, but I dropped off in, like, early seasons, so I do need to resume because I hear it's now, like, fucking exceeding and surpassing all expectations. So, yeah, that's it. Like, you know, you could fucking Game of Thrones, but why not just go watch, like, some of the good shit going on, like that or Sandman, you know? So, and I mean, if... I'm hearing good things about Sandman, and, like, the comics are fucking incredible, some of the best ever, but I also read them so long ago that I barely remember anything that happened in them, so I'm in the perfect place to start that show and enjoy it, especially since there's differences between the two. If you've got a letter, you can send it over to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. Tell us about your horrible media blind spots that people seem baffled by.
Franchises in need of sweet, sweet video game love. Dear video game Bert and Ernie, saw a few days ago that we just passed the 10th anniversary of Transformers Fall of Cybertron. And I remembered the hype train for that game was incredible. Seeing the initial
It was.
trailer, gameplay, High Moon Studio at BotCon all year, and then having my friend pull some strings to get me an extra code for G1 Optimus pre-order skin. When the game itself came out, I definitely wasn't disappointed. It was great. Me and my friends took turns playing into the wee hours of the night on the first weekend. Huge Transformers nerd most of my life, ever since I saw the original movie. Even as a kid with little space or money for figures, try to keep the cartoons, movies, and so on. Yeah. Only real bangers that came along in terms of... Okay. However, it's always been weird that how few Transformers games there are for almost a 40-year-old franchise. There's only a few that are good. Their only real bangers are the Armada game on PS2, High Moon games from 7th Gen, Platinum's Devastation. All the others range from neat, like that DS game based on the first movie, to outright terrible, like Beast Wars games on the PS1. I noticed that
That game's real bad.
I noticed that they neglected to say the Game Boy fighting game Beast Wars, which was a fun-ass little basic bitch fighter. I loved it. Seems really weird, doesn't it? A series about giant robot warriors turning into all manner of vehicles and animals should be ripe with potential for pretty much every genre of game imaginable. Where's the Transformers open world game? Where's the fighting game? Where's the Telltale narrative game? At this point, I'm so starved I'd settle for a Hasbro platform fighter or Fortnite skins.
Yeah, no, blame Hasbro. They give out the license and they say, here's $4.
And it's one of those things where, because it's such a long, big toy franchise that's been around forever, the license is but the license is kind of worth nothing. It's handed out to anybody that throws a half decent pitch at them and then makes nothing approaching that pitch when they deliver it, and they're fine with it being something that'll get fans to pick it up on a curiosity, hate it, and then move on, and then 4 years later we just do it again. You know, so some things, unfortunately, are too saturated as licenses, and this is one of them. What's a franchise you love that needs more or better video games? Well, I mean, shit. Something that's not already done decently. That's
right, Bionicle. It needs another good video game. That series has had long-standing, incredible potential, and it has gone unrealized.
I mean, I haven't talked about it in a while before today, until when we were talking about nostalgia, but it is kind of weird that there's no real solid Gurren Lagann video game. Like,
yeah, I was thinking of Gundam as well. There's
Gundam
a million Gundam games.
There's a million Gundam games. There's some really good ones.
None of them are the one that I want, which is Zone of the Enders, but in the Gundam.
There's some really good ones that are fun, you know, the multiplayer, the stuff, but the breaker stuff, you know, there's some fun stuff out there for Gundam, but it's really weird that Gurren never really got anything solid, because it feels like it would translate pretty well over action-wise to a game. I saw Cowboy Bebop pop up there, but I wouldn't think
there is a Cowboy Bebop game.
Yes,
and it's not bad. It's not good. It's bad.
The PlayStation 2 one, yeah, that was something of reminiscence, I want to say. And
yeah, that came out right alongside Ghost of the Shell and Gungrave
and Samurai Champloo. But Full Metal Alchemist as well. That era of PS2 anime games, but like, Cowboy Bebop's awesome. I don't think that needs a video game. I don't think it's the kind of thing, like, it can get a shooter, like, but it doesn't. I don't know, like, it's so hit or miss maybe with the vibe of a game for that. It's so strong in its narrative. The action is there. It's I wouldn't think of it as a franchise that's like, oh yeah, that's a sure thing for a video game, you know? Kill la Kill got one. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. It's a big old tournament arc for the whole thing. But when I think about Gurren as well, like, it feels like, yeah, that absolutely should just scale upwards and, you know, would be a really fun single player action game. Weird. Anyway, there's there's probably others out there, but I'll go with that.
It would for a if if DB Fighters had not existed, I would have said Dragon Ball, which is funny because there have been like 100 Dragon Ball games, but none of them were like, yeah, a Dragon Ball. They were like, oh yeah, it's another okay. But now we have the good one finally. After 30 years,
if you were playing a Yakuza style Cowboy Bebop game, running around the streets of Spike talking to people, that is 20 to 30 hours of Spike mischaracterization waiting for you in all these conversations where you go, Spike wouldn't do that. Spike wouldn't say that. What the fuck? Like, it would be so easy to get it wrong, you know?
I have a game for you.
Don't even.
It's called Cowboy Bebop, and takes place on Ganymede, and you play a private detective, and it's Disco Elysium, and you never, ever, 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 ever meet anyone from Cowboy Bebop.
There you go. Sure. Fine. Done.
It just happens to take place on Ganymede.
Yep. Put us in the world.
You see the bounty poster at like, or you see like a bounty that is from the show at Tops.
But you have to have some strong marketing to get across to the people that hear about this, that are going to be super mad that Spike's not in it. Why Spike's not in it?
Because fuck you.
I know. And you're right. Fuck me. But they still need to hear why. You know?
That's the reason I said it. I said it out loud.
But that is absolutely the way to treat that material with respect, is to just stay as far the fuck away from its characters as possible. Now you've got me. Yes, use the settings. That could work for a bunch of things, really. Is like, power of the setting will carry you. Write it good. Use it. Don't fuck up the actual existing canon. There you go. Transformers, unfortunately, it's too saturated by Hasbro on that.
Yeah. And basically, the more popular the license is, the more often they're likely to go, oh, we don't need to fucking do shit for this. The kiddies will buy it because it says the Transformer on it. Fucking kids don't know shit.
Here's one coming in. DB says, during game versus post-game completionist. Recently picked up Arkham, Asylum and City, remakes on Sex, $10 combo deal. And the remakes,
on the Sex box.
Seems solid. Took me a second. While going through Asylum, I ran into a problem. Did my best to get the Riddler challenge stuff, and I went through the game. But going back to kill Joker Teeth was causing problems since I'm literally only missing one or two. They unusually come up in groups of 3, so I have to check every single spawn point.
Dude, that sucks.
Wouldn't have had a problem if I had gotten them all, or if I didn't leave any. So should I have been a completionist and went through the game, or saved this sort of thing for when the main campaign was over to collect items? Which methodology is usually better?
The best one is to not give a shit at all. I say that as somebody who has extreme compulsive urges to 100% these things. I say this as somebody who got every feather in Assassin's Creed 2 using a spreadsheet and a picture that I was marking off feather locations. The best thing to do with anything completionist in all these games is to not give a goddamn shit. Failing that, the best thing to do is to ask someone who has gotten the game beforehand, is there a feature that will help me ping the locations of shit, or point me, or I can track, or whatever? And if the answer is no, either don't play the game at all, or go ahead and break out that fucking completion guide and fucking get a piece of pen and paper out and just start checking them off as you get them.
I'm in favor of not giving a shit and enjoying whatever the game has to offer you just as you go through it with your own leisure.
May or may not be under your control.
I understand. So if it is,
so that's why number 2 on the list was don't bother with the game at all.
Right.
Like that like I'm at the point where number 1 is don't do it. Number 2 is don't bother, and then the last one is fine, do it, I guess, if you have to. Like stuff like Witcher and Spider-Man, where everything on the map is just here. It's here. You go here. Do you want every question mark to go away? Go here. Here's the question mark. You go there. You do it. It'll be gone if you go there.
That's a more reasonable alternative. That being said, if I'm being locked out of content or interesting tidbits, it is made easier in a world where YouTube exists, and I can just look up whatever the fuck that was and catch it in post as well, which is becoming more and more the norm as I go through anything. Like, I'll look around. If I find it, I find it. If I don't, then oops, whatever. And if I'm not locked out of any really good cutscenes, dialogue, or endings or moments, then fine. If I am, I'll look it up. A perfect example, in Dead Space, I think I found almost every node room except for the final one as you're pushing the marker. So I just happened to walk through that door and that locked me out, and it was like, son of a bitch, that last node room. Oh, well, there it goes. I'm already pretty strong. It's not going to lead to anything. Who the fuck cares?
I think what might have been the worst like brain goblin thing for getting things in any game to date is the potion recipes in Witcher 3, where it is a gigantic, super massive open world game, and they're like, do you want enhanced black blood potion? There's 2 spots in the universe that have it. There's 2. Do you want superior swallow?
Well,
here's the 1 spot in the whole game you can get it.
Will that create a consumable that you only have 1 of?
No, the way it works in Witcher is that every time you rest, you use alcohol in your inventory to top off all your potions.
Okay, alright, fine.
Which is the actual really good solution to that problem.
Should I even ask why a bunch of people were screaming about Peng in Dead Space?
Yeah, because there's always Peng.
Okay, so to me, Peng is a poster on a wall with a lady on it.
That says, no matter what, there's always Peng. There's a Peng item you can fucking find in zero gravity in the loading dock that gives you an achievement.
Okay, well,
because there's always Peng.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
It's just a stupid little recurring gag.
Yeah. Got it. One last one over here. Donovan says, "Dear algorithm hustler and React stream scammer, last month in India, a group of farmers organized to create a fake cricket league. They wore uniforms of real cricket teams, added fake crowd cheer noises to the stream, and broadcast the games live on YouTube. They got some Russians who I guess would bet anything to bet on these games. The masterminds had walkie-talkies that would communicate to the umpire and the players to rig the outcome and maximize winnings. This went on for 2 weeks until they were shut down by the Indian government, but they made almost 4,000 USD. Some people have been arrested."
Right. Oh, that's good in India too, with the way the rupee. Oh man, that's big dollars.
But the question remains: hustle or scam?
That is absolutely a scam. That is without a doubt.
It is a scam. Clearly, it is. But so the idea, right? And there's a source here with the story, and it seems that the scam is directed at the Russian gamblers. And if you are scamming a scam op, do you automatically get upgraded to hustle via double negative?
No, it's a scam.
Because scamming a scammer might be a double negative. It might upgrade you into a hustle. Clean scam. Targeted? I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
It can be a justified scam, but no, it's a scam.
It is a rigged fake cricket league. You know, here, let's see. I don't know, man. I need more data. I'm kind of thinking. Okay, Russian gamblers were duped by a fake version of the Indian Premier League cricket. A group of farm workers pretended to be the players reaching the quarterfinal stage before authorities figured out the con and arrested the organizers. Fake rosters, fake games. They were promised 400 rupees per match. Okay. They had the fake crowd going. Now
fake crowd?
Fake crowd noises, and there's footage of the YouTube live stream with fake crowd noises. Now, okay, the bets. How do the bets take place? This is kind of what I guess it's going to come down to. They take live bets over the Telegram channel, and then they'd instruct the umpire over a walkie-talkie to signal the opposite of whichever way the bets were.
That's obviously
That's such a scam.
That is like laughably a scam.
That's such a scam, dude. Oh man. Damn. Okay. Yeah. Nah, dude. Like, that's a rigged ass scam. The broadcast included the voice of someone imitating a well-known Indian cricket commentator, and the commentator was amused when he saw the news. Oh. In the first installment of bets, they made over 300,000 rupees before the authorities shut down the situation. The players agreed to cooperate with the police. Gamblers from all over Russia. I've never seen it. Oh, here we go. Quote from the article. I've never seen a scam like this. These guys just cleared a patch of land deep inside the village and began playing a match, beaming it onto YouTube and making money through gambling. Even the local villagers were not aware of this. We know very little about the Russians who were putting bets on this game. God damn, dude. Oh, that's what a scam. That's, yeah. All right, fine. No.
It's a scam right there.
That's big old scam. Yeah. I will institute a house rule that, like, when you are target scamming someone who is attempting to scam you, that can be a reverse hustle. You can double reverse a hustle out of that situation. Okay, all right. The refs are gonna call it. That's a scam. It's in the article. That being said,
what do you mean that being said? How many times you gotta call this a scam before you're like, whoa? Whoa, could it be?
No, it's a scam. It's a scam, but there's some hustle to that scam that you gotta respect.
No, all scams are hustles.
You gotta respect.
But not all hustles are scams.
Right. You gotta, but not every scam. That's the thing is, I would have thought that every scam is not respectable, right? Up until this point. In my brain, a scam was not to be respected. A hustle was to be respected. But I have been introduced into this is a respectable scam.
No, the respectability comes from the craft, not the morality.
But also but the end take on, for example, the pizza hustle, the pizza delivery hustle, was that everyone walks away happy. right?
No, it's the morality of it. It's whether or not there was an active deception.
Duplicity. There was no duplicity in that. People just kind of tipped and were happy to get their pizza a little bit earlier. All right. Yeah, that's a good one.
The pizza one, they assumed.
They did assume.
There was no deception.
Where was that? Yeah. Thanks, Donovan. Good shit. Okay. So, yeah. That'll do it, folks.
Okay. Everyone have a good week. Make sure to check out Woolie's React shit on Friday and mine on Saturday. You know, it'd be really crazy if they sent us the same things and then they could compare us. Oh my god.
Yeah, and check the like I said, I'm gonna make a Twitter thread and I'm gonna make a Reddit thread, and we'll see how that goes. I look forward to it. Can you tell how excited I am?
Yeah, I can. You look more excited than you've ever been. That's the excitement.